$500 today. It's going to be 4 teams in best of 5 competitions, single elimination, one and done, no chance after that. If you get through the entire bracket, you get $500 for your team. And honestly, these are my favorite type of tournaments. I love the tournaments where it's just one player, one person, right? One team that's going to take home every single bit of that money. You know exactly what you're playing for. You win or you go home, like Ricky Bobby used to say, either you're first or you're last. There's no participation trophy for the players today. Let's take a look at the rosters that'll be competing today. We have, of course, that ESA Blue team getting better and better every single week, it seems, but they have some stiff competition out there. Crowd Pleasers playing with Ixana, Kratos, Hative, and Carmea. Always got to be looking out for Kratos. Oxygen playing that's like, I think, the best version of Oxygen that we've seen. And Native Gaming +1, so no King J. It's going to be Crisley who's playing for that team today. 4 very good teams. And, you know, any first reactions, first thoughts about any of these teams, Clutch?
Yeah, I think the big thing is there's no juggernaut in this week's tournament, right? There's usually a Cloud9 or a FaZe or someone there that's like going to ruin the fun for everybody involved. Gonna pretty much like dictate the competition, I'd say, throughout one of these tournaments. You only have 3 series, like you're saying, 3 best of 5s in order to collect the cash prize. But in my opinion, it's up for grabs this week. I think these are some strong rosters. I love the fact that Ixana was able to find a roster. He's somebody that's impressed me throughout these esports arena tournaments. I saw him tweet the other day that he doesn't think he's going to be able to, I guess, get to Orlando, find a team. Hopefully things are going to change, and especially with a successful day today, that $500 could be pretty useful in getting yourself to Orlando, getting an opportunity to compete on the HJS main stage, and everyone wants to be there. So hopefully we see some good things out of him. But I think you pointed it out. These rosters, they're pretty stacked with the upcoming talent, right? The Oxygen roster that we're going to see first up, it's got a lot of talent, a lot of prideful players on that team that have expectations coming into Orlando. You need to find ways to build momentum up to Orlando. This is a great opportunity for them to get some quality practice, but more so make a statement with all the teams that they'll likely see at Orlando and say, hey, we got the leg up on you online. We're confident we can get the job done on the biggest stage.
Yeah, Auction looking to punch their way into that grand finals with this best of 5 right here. And on the other side of the bracket, right, they have Native Gaming and Auction. And Native, if you guys didn't know, they went against each other in the HCS Open Championship to determine who would get funding to get themselves to Orlando. And let's just say Native, they don't have to worry about their plane tickets. On the other side, Bob Kraft, you know, poor Bob Kraft, he's trying to figure out how to get his Halo team there. So, you know, we'll see if Auction can get their revenge today. ESA Blue, not a team to really bow out. You know, they're going to be definitely putting this to Oxygen. But Oxygen, there's such a, like you said, there's a lot of egos on this team. They're very good, a lot of experience, but not quite placing like they'd want to. You know, when it comes to winning the tournaments, like those HCS Open series, they were never quite able to get it over the hump. They always kind of fall just a bit short. And what do you think is that reason, Clutch? Why are they just a step away from where they want to be?
I mean, they have some individual talent. It's just a matter of consistently playing at that level, right? A lot of the times when you see top 12 teams or a lot of talented players on top 12 teams and top 16 teams, they have to figure out how to be more consistent, especially when the games get harder, when you're playing against the likes of the FaZes, the Uniteds of the world, the teams that if you want to make it and you want to break into the top 8, the top 6, well, guess what? You got to beat one of those guys to knock them out of their placing in order to take their placing. And it doesn't always happen the first, second, third, fourth time, maybe even the first year. I mean, it's a tough task to ask to create those kind of upsets, because those guys, they've been competing for almost over a decade, all of them on those top teams, right? Like, they know how to get it done. They've been there. They're tried true veterans. To be able to take down the tried true veterans, you got to find a level of consistently to be able to play at that high of a level through a best of 5 in the most important day of maybe your career, right? And that could be Orlando, but you have to build up. You have to practice how you're going to play at those tournaments. And yeah, for someone like me, I spent an entire year in the top 16 and in the top 12, 2008. And then the next year I got third the first event. But it was like a lot of hard work and grind and a lot of frustrating moments in between 2008 and 2009 that I had to kind of go through turmoil wise. So Oxygen, nothing new here. It's the same story. You either make it or you don't, and only you get to decide your future. But we got gameplay up. I couldn't be more excited to get the series underway. I know Oxygen's coming off a fresh scrim, so I expect them to be warm up. Look for them to come out hot here.
Well, we're starting on what are many people's favorite game type and map combination, Aquarius Flag. Camouflage going to get quickly burned off the map as Oxygen was able to grab it, but they weren't quite able to put it to much work. And in fact, it's ESA Blue who's quickly running a flag, and well, already past that halfway mark, Pac Mandela looks to strike first.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be Oxygen coming out hot, but it really will be ESA Blue looking to punch this first flag in. Can he get it through is the big question. Not the no shield, but still gets it done. But unfortunately, Tools, look at that. 4 go down for ESA Blue, and now you're looking at a very realistic opportunity for a counter cap.
Yeah, I mean, that massive cost to getting that flag through, and well, the repercussions, they're not quite felt all the way yet because Oxygen still set up to potentially get themselves right in position to run another flag. ESA Blue desperately need to find these kills and get themselves that map control once again as Oxygen start to shore up towards the P side. Boom and Triton trying to get some work done on this P tower.
That's why it's so crucial when you're running the flag to get a couple of kills along the way, because you deny that counter cap opportunity. ESA Blue, they got a phenomenal start to the game. They were able to punch that flag in, but it costed everything. You're seeing Oxygen. When they capped the flag, they were able to get a couple of kills, stagger the amount of pressure ESA Blue were going to be able to provide, and because of that, they keep this at a 1-to-1 game.
We're already seeing a ton of P tower presence from Triton in particular. And it's been coming at a bit of a cost because, look, this is the second flag that ESA Blue's running through the card.
Yeah, it's the most common flag route right now and has been on Aquarius CTF in professional play. It's this car route, right? It's this dynamo grenades route where you have so much cover, you have an opportunity to cycle some dynamo grenades, and you can get it step-by-step progression, right? You get it into your closet, and then you can run it to your flag just like that. They punch it in. Not only that, they secure camo this time around. No opportunity for a counter cap because they got some kills along the way. And ESA Blue answering the ring of the bell, answering the first roll jab they had to suffer early on when Oxygen tied this one up phenomenally with that second cap.
And look at this Firebird. He's not even slowing it down. He's going to be able to push all the way into this base once again. And it's a third flag that could be on its way home for ESA Blue. And Firebird, just not able to get that pick. And now it's up to Hallelujah, but he has the heat wave to get the job done. And like you said, now all it's about getting these kills on the way back.
You want to see him play his life right there. He wants to stop that return from coming through, but you're not going to be able to do that. No shield. He pays for the double back with his life. They do keep this flag alive, however. It's going to be Pac Mandela with a touch on the flag, a massive kill in the closet, and that's going to open up the door for this team to potentially take a 2-cap lead here very early on, but there's a lot of pressure still car side of the map. The last 2 players alive from Oxygen are able to hop the return, and I actually like this play from Pac Mandela. Not a lot more he could have done as an individual in order to get that flag on the move. He doesn't desperate and try and deny the return there. He tries to play his life. Doesn't work out, but you give yourself opportunity.
Well, Bohm going massive in the back base. He was able to get 2 from ESA Blue on those pushes, and now suddenly Oxygen gonna find themselves an opportunity to maybe start pushing their way into a flag. And well, Hallelujah, he's last alive and he's praying for a way to stay alive, but Bomex cuts him down short. And you see Oxygen, when they do pull this flag, it seems as if there's no resistance, a complete collapse of ESA Blue's team. And now it's a second flag on the board, and well, it could be another soon enough as Oxygen's still fighting for this map control.
Yeah, great job to keep map control. You're seeing a little body disrespect, but that's going to cost him his life. Stays on death cam. Maybe not something Firebird really is thinking about in that situation. Pays for it with his life. It's an easy kill for Triton. And Triton's able to collect these dynamo grenades. You know how lethal these can be. He's taking a good amount of damage here, but I mean, a great job by Oxygen to not only tie this one up, but to once again make sure they don't give up map control when capping a flag. Because of that, they're able to play for this camo. Bomex now has, and they're going to give themselves a great chance to push and potentially gain the lead for the first time here in game 1.
Bomex finding the time for his team to finish in on their collapse. Although they lose the camouflage, it did give Nemesis a chance. Wasn't able to quite put it together. And the rest of Oxygen starting to have to rally back and get together as a unit. You start to see ESA Blue finding their push. And man, those thrust on thrust battles. Usually the last player that thrust wins those fights. And, well, we're seeing ESA Blue able to put that to work as Bohm has to play the defensive end.
Absolutely. The Halo 5 meta, you thrust second, and you typically win the fight. Especially if you're not thrusting backwards as well. It's just not the projection you want to give in order to make your opponent miss. It's so much easier to hit that player. But right now, hopping on board with Common, he knows there's at least one player in the closet. Does he know there's three is the big question right now. Surrounded. I love how he plays. He pushes up on the map, plays aggressive. Because of it, he's able to trade, and that's a great job by him to just get out of that situation with a little bit of damage, right? He could have easily tried to fight for his closet, stand his ground, and lose his life without nothing being done. But as I say that, the rest of Oxygen, they start to fall down, and because of it, ESA Blue gonna have this flag once again on the car run. They're gonna slow it down for just a moment here, it seems, but they're in such a good position if they can get a kill or two to cap this third flag.
Problem is, ESA Blue might have gotten just a little bit too ahead of themselves as they start to fall. All four get wiped. Not only is that flag going to get returned, Nemesis is going to be able to put this camouflage on his body, and he sees all of the spawners towards this fridge. All of this information is going to Oxygen. You have to imagine that this one is going to translate into a flag cap.
Yeah, you got to think this kind of control, you got to capitalize here and now on it. Will we see Oxygen take the lead for the first time on this push is the big question. Good teamwork there to keep your camo player alive. It was momentarily 3 dead, 1 player alive in the back of the base. The rest are spawning up pink. You need to get this kill in the back of the base. The longer he stays alive, the more of a chance he gives ESA Blue to defend this flag run.
Yeah, some awkward timings right here from Oxygen. Just have not been able to get the flag out early. And, well, ESA Blue, although it was looking stark, they're able to stabilize in their position.
It's because that guy stays alive in the back of the base. He doesn't take a gunfight. He just has presence, and presence alone denied Oxygen's opportunity to pull that flag. The rest of the players were able to push out, create some space pink, and they're able to keep this game tied up 2-2. A phenomenal job by ESA Blue to get out of that sticky situation.
Already back into this action. He's working with his teammates in order to get themselves towards this flag. It's out, but 2 players stand in the way of Pac Mandela in this flag, but he does not care. He goes for both of them. The jugular ahead of him. Fire. He's going to be able to finish the fight. Hallelujah has the flag in tow. Nades are effective, but it's a foot race to the flag, and Hallelujah, he has a head start.
He's going to go down the front the base. You got to slay. You're the last guy for Pac Mandela. You cannot think about capping this flag. A little bit of an overextension. Now you got to start thinking about defense, because here comes Oxygen. The push is going to be into the base. We're going to see an overextension from Reverb. He's going to opt to try and cut this flag off, but that flag, it's on the move. It's going to go at least halfway, you'd have to think, as long as there's not too much of a stutter in the run. This is going to be Oxygen's moment to take the lead. Camo is coming up, so that's a variable that they're going to have to weigh into the decision making. He's going to drop that flag, try to slave for it, and I like that decision. He's able to stop ESA Blue from not only getting camo, but puts those dynamo grenades to work. Knocks 2 players to no shield, and look at that. 3 go down, and this is going to be Oxygen taking the lead because of that one decision Common just made.
Yeah, Chris Common going big, right? Not normally do you see your flag carrier put so much damage on the map, and really showing the duality of how to run flags. Because what, a flag cap ago, we saw ESA Blue, they were the team that was trying just to push that flag in no matter what. Keep running. Well, Oxygen, kind of slow and steady to the race. They get their BRs out, they get the gunfight ready, and they're able to take themselves a lead. And while Triton, he's trying to get himself back towards this flag as it's out towards the halfway mark. Oxygen need to be careful about letting this flag go too long. But it's a camo that appears, and Triton, he's going to have some work to do. I think he spotted the camo. He's on the run. The camo runs out, and Triton, he has the BR shots, and it's going to be enough, shutting down the heat wave for his team. But that flag's still out on its way. Oxygen playing a dangerous game, letting this flag sit so close to the home of ESA Blue.
Yeah, but there's 3 dead right now. There's a couple players in the base to kind of deal with as one came off respawn, but just take note on how patient Triton played this entire situation. That's just veteran patience from a player. 4 go down, they get the return. They didn't rush. They weren't worried that the flag was still being run front the base. They knew that he had resources, he had help to be able to delay that flag run. He makes the right play in killing the camo player first, and because of it, they reward themselves to maintain the lead, to take control of the map, and to deny that flag from being punched in from ESA Blue. Beautifully done by Triton and the boys.
Suddenly ESA Blue has to be worried about the time on the clock.
Yeah.
Only 2 minutes to work with to get themselves a flag cap. Ali getting that double kill is going to provide much needed space, but camouflages the fight, and it looks like Chris Common, he finds himself on top. He's going to be able to get away with that camo and try to play his life, but Hallelujah able to get the last shot down in time. ESA Blue, they got about 1:45 to work with. They need to get a flag cap in.
Yeah, you want this flag on the move, but they need slays. They're looking for players. They can't find them, and it's because they're right behind them in the closet. And that's a result of 3 going down for ESA Blue. It's going to be Firebird, the last player alive now, hiding in this corner. He was taken out the last time he was here. He's taken out once again. Not the best place to hide for him so far throughout this game, and that's a tough push because ESA Blue, that was looking promising, but you need to be able to keep track of where players are, where they should be spawning. And when you don't block closet spawns and one ends up being in there, he stops the entire flag run by himself.
Really, we've seen Oxygen just get more and more confidence as this game has gone on. ESA Blue, they dominated their early game with the slays. Oxygen have been steadily improving their shots, steadily finding more and more kills on the feed, and now have really taken control of this game. And ESA Blue depending on a miracle here in order to get themselves back in. With 40 seconds left, they need to find a wipe and a flag pull in order to give themselves an opportunity, and it's quickly slipping through their fingers.
Yeah, and on the side of Oxygen, how do you play this one? Do you just try to play for map control? Do you be aggressive? How far do you want to push? Questions like that. Typically, mistakes are made when you start playing passively. Controlling your closet's a great start. Great shots by Common in order to make that a reality. 15 seconds now on the clock with that round of slays. It's going to be so tough for ESA Blue, and you're seeing that they're spawning pink. They're trying to overextend pink. One of them gets cut off, and the last player alive on that side of the map is going to be Pac Mandela. He gets taken out, and it is going to be Oxygen taking game 1.
Yeah, oh my. Common able to put a little statement at the end as well. Gets the out BR, as it's going to be a 3-2 victory for Oxygen. They will take the series lead. And honestly, really impressed with how Oxygen came back in the second half of that game, because they were looking a little unpolished in this beginning, right, Clutch? I think we're seeing a lot of lanes being left open, flag caps for ESA Blue that I don't necessarily think were earned, but given. And Oxygen, they clean it up towards the end, able to get those flag caps in and now have that momentum going into the Slayer.
Yeah, I think the pace was definitely in ESA Blue's favor early on, but once Oxygen were able to find their footing, they were able to pretty much control the map for the majority of the time. A glaring issue was camo control on the side of Oxygen. I mean, ESA Blue, time after time, it felt like had the advantages of camouflage throughout the game. We saw, I think it was Common pick up 1, but it was basically a burn in that situation. ESA Blue did a phenomenal job to shut him down before he could really get out of bottom middle, and I mean, they did everything right in order to keep themselves in the game. They just didn't make the play that was going to dictate the final score line. So if you're ESA Blue, the game 1 was close against a very tough team in Oxygen, but you still didn't come out with a win. You got to find ways to close the door on these games, because if you leave them open, Oxygen or better teams are going to find ways to stabilize and take the advantages where they come.
Yeah, I think they really have to be able to find a solution to Chris Common as well. I mean, he had at the end of that game 20 kills, 17 assists, right? And to me, that's just, it's an insane stat line to think about. In fact, I think he might have had even more kills. That's just what I'm last remembering, but he's just in every single engagement in that game. 20 plus kills, 15 plus assists, 15 plus deaths, right? How do you stop a player who's literally getting in every gunfight imaginable, getting right into that action, and is really just generating a lot of space for his team?
Yeah, it's just a lot of production from one player, right? When he's able to do that much damage and then impact that many fights or have that much presence in a game, usually those players, their presence is felt by the enemy team, and it's a very difficult game for them. So you know that Common, he was being a pain in the rear for the side of ESA Blue. In order to shut that down, you got to find ways to prioritize him on the map.
All right, ooh, massive fight won by Firebird, and while not learning his lessons from the last game, he's going to put that little body disrespect down anyway, and he's earned himself 2 power weapons early in the game and a thrust to go in the back pocket. You couldn't ask for a better start for ESA Blue here, but they need to be able to capitalize on it. And it all starts with Firebird with these rockets. Do not let them go to waste. No pucket in your future. Make sure you get the easy kills. And while he's going to start with a great one on common, the second not going to quite connect, but he's getting right back into that fight. This is a dangerous game to play. 3 players from Oxygen are waiting around that corner.
Yeah, can they find other angles to knock these players down? These players are trying to stay alive. Cafe, you see the player no shield. He's being such a nuisance. And although Triton tried to play his life as best he could, eventually Firebird's going to start this one off 4-1-0. A great use of the rockets, honestly. A great job to flip the map when they had control. But I mean, if you take a look at the scoreline tools, that's where you start to get worried, because everything has gone right for ESA Blue. It's just a 1-kill game.
Yeah, Firebird, I mean, he finds 5 in a row, and it has to be frustrating for him. He feels like he's doing everything on the map, but it's still just a 1-kill game. He has that Bulldog in the back pocket and a trusty BR to work with as he's approaching these front lines. I'm just, Oxygen, they just play at their own pace, man. It just does not seem that they're in any hurry to try to stop ESA Blue. And while ESA Blue maybe getting a little impatient there, they're going to go 3 down. And Oxygen, they're going to be able to get back control of the power weapons.
Yeah, a good set of kills right before rockets are coming up usually means that they're going to have the better positioning for these rockets. Let's see how it plays out, because these rockets are probably going to dictate how this mid-game goes.
Well, it's interesting. Oxygen giving up the middle map. And, well, Ty, he was able to get the rockets, but can he stay alive? He's able to get 1 at minimum. Those rockets down and back. Well, he's got him back in his hands. He's going to be able to get the rocket around the corner. So, Oxygen, although they get all those kills, they do not get the rockets, and well, it keeps ESA Blue in the lead for now.
Stuck in the back of Tram. How's Oxygen gonna get out of this one? It's just a 2-kill game at this point in time. Make it a 1-kill game right now, but the positioning favors ESA Blue right now with a ton of different angles, ton of map control. ESA Blue is looking to push into Tram here from multiple different angles. You can see Oxygen's kind of turtled up here, but they do get a cafe spawn, so they're going to have a little bit of space over towards the tower. And is this something ESA Blue is going to be on top of, or they're going to expect players to be here?
Oh my, Chris comment. He's like, hey, I got the flake. Sees a player, and well, it's 2 BRs that instantly train onto him, and he's going to fall. All right, we're starting to see Oxygen put a lot of presence towards B, but the counter push is happening at purple at this moment. Looks like ESA Blue decides to double back. I thought they had a good strategy going there, Clutch. Maybe speak to that a little bit. We saw 2 players swinging from ESA Blue to maybe flank towards that purple. The pressure starts to mount towards B, and we saw them just completely double back towards A to try to get back to the fight.
Yeah, the game slowed down, right? They didn't want to continue to push. Something that we've seen ESA Blue continuously doing so far throughout the series is being aggressive and taking advantage where they can. They still have that 2-kill lead, but they did slow it down. And you have to think if they were aggressive, they'd probably pick up a couple of kills on the stairs. But in the meantime, it's Oxygen that have been able to tie this one up for now. But Firebird separates it by 1. And right now, Rockets once again coming up in 10 seconds. ESA Blue need to find a way to get a couple of kills. This is a must-win slayer for them, I'd say. A reverse sweep would be very difficult against this Oxygen team. And they go all 4 dead here momentarily as Oxygen pick up the kills and probably this next set of rockets. And this is going to be a tough moment that ESA Blue need to find success in.
Alia was able to get 1. Happened to be that Rocket player. Rocket's still down. You're starting to see it's an all-out fight, and somehow Oxygen lose the fight for Rockets.
No way. They have no business losing these fights. The Rocket player, somebody's got to be on top of those to chain that run right there and pick up those rockets, but they end up in the hands of Revert. The kills actually benefit ESA Blue as well. So everything that Oxygen did well in that last span of engagements was negated by the rockets coming up. Maybe not enough pressure onto the couple of players from ESA Blue that were going to pressure those rockets, and because of it, you're now looking at ESA Blue back in control, and this is a tough situation for Oxygen. Once again, stuck in the back of Tram. How can they get out of this? The first time it didn't go, it went pretty well for them, I'd say, but that's a very difficult recipe to continue to try and repeat.
We see Triton, I mean, he has a stalker, and he's able to single-handedly stop 2 players coming through that top door. And that's going to be a massive difference. This stalker rifle basically breathing life back into Oxygen, as it was a worrisome couple moments there after they lost the rockets. But Triton's trying to make up for it all. The red gun been so effective on the map. Yeah, ESA Blue, you start to see them congregating towards PD. It looks like they're going to try to push towards this B. All this action is going to spring forward. All the players from ESA Blue start to push, but it's Triton sitting in the back. The red gun putting down some great damage, able to get the headshot, but Ty answers back. We're starting to see all the kills fold. It's starting to go trade for trade. No one truly getting the advantage, but map control being won by ESA Blue.
It's been a 2-kill game the entire time right now. Rockets once again coming up, and we can talk about how they may dictate how the score is going to go, but these two teams doing such a good job of making sure nobody runs away with it. But you have to think eventually one of these two teams is going to get an all-4-dead situation. They flip the map and they try to run away with it. It is the ESA Blue. They get the Rockets. Reverb can't get out of there. He wastes one. It's only going to be one rocket for Triton to play with, but that's all he needs. He's got the Bulldog in the back pocket. It's a killing spree for Triton, and ever since he picked up that Stalker, you started to feel Oxygen's momentum start to increase.
Yeah, like you said, this is the biggest lead that we've seen in the game yet. 4 kills. You know, it's like, well, this is truly mind-blowing. We're really blowing this game open. And while ESA Blue, they're playing with fire right now. They cannot afford to have easy picks. Does he know that he's dodging Triton as well as he is? Pac-Man Della eventually goes down. Triton gets the frustrating kill. But you see the answers from ESA Blue. Every time you think they're about to be out of this game, they somehow find a way to weasel their way back in.
Triton is so patient. I mean, the fact that he didn't just like full-fledged sprint at that guy jumping out of tower, the fact that he takes the route he does, gets a clean kill, takes him a little bit longer, but a little bit of an over challenge on the angle. He gets caught off in heaven, double teamed, all 4 dead for Oxygen in the meantime. And now all of a sudden what was once a 5-kill game looked like Oxygen was maybe potentially about to run away with it. ESA Blue answer the ring of the bell here as the kills cross 40. It's 42-42 now. Oxygen in the back of Tram. We've seen this movie before. They've done a great job several times to get out of this one. But will ESA Blue finally crack the code?
The difference this time has been the nade. Spikes for 1, stickies for the next, and now they're just melting the players. Only 1 kill getting traded out. Oh my God, Nemesis somehow able to get value. He's going to get another, but a similar story, maybe once again on the other foot. All the kills go for ESA Blue as rockets are coming up, but they don't have position for the fight. This could be the first set of rockets that we really see go in favor of Oxygen. They are up on the field now. Not sure who was able to get away with those, but you can imagine they might make the difference in the game.
Jumps on the plasma nade. That's a life he's going to want back. 48-47. Now all of a sudden ESA Blue have the lead. The Rockets, they're still up. Can you go for them? No. Are they going to take you down? Bo Mex with the grenade. 1 shot makes it a 1-kill game in favor of Oxygen. They get the Rockets. They put them to use. It's Chris Common putting a punctuation on game 2. 50-48. ESA Blue had the lead. Tried to play for Rockets. Couldn't get the job done. And Oxygen closed the door on game 2, very similarly to game 1. And this is a close series. These two teams are very evenly matched right now in this series. And ESA Blue somehow finds themselves down now in a steep 2-0 hill.
One thing that confuses me about that game, Clutch, is we saw it multiple times, right? And you hearken to it. We saw wipes, like literal team wipes before Rockets coming up for one team. ESA Blue, they had it a couple times against Oxygen. Oxygen had it a couple times against ESA Blue. And it seemed like the team that won the wipe did not get set up for the next pair of Rockets and would go to the other team, right? What's happening to both these teams that's causing this? Because Oxygen, they somehow get wiped, 4 down, Rockets come up, they get in position once again, win the fight, get the rocket in common. That last rocket's the 50th kill. That's ESA Blue just moments before had a 4 down.
Yeah, for me, it's without hearing comms and without understanding like players, individual teams like insights on how they want to set up for Rockets, how they want to pursue going for Rockets. It's difficult to break down entirely, but to me, the game looks too chaotic from both ends, right? Allowing one player to deny a team that has every advantage to try and secure those rockets, that should not be happening. That does not happen against the top teams, right? Like that one player, he gets caught out, he gets exposed, he gets suppressed at least, and allows a certain player or whoever to go and secure those rockets. Several times we saw a 4v2 situation realistically when Rockets were up, and the 4 would somehow not be able to obtain the rockets successfully. Like, you should be able to suppress the players and dodge the grenades or play around the Geo there and secure those rockets a little bit more safely than what we saw in that game. That's something that like will separate the Oxygens of the world as they move on through better teams in other brackets. But today they're not necessarily punished, but that's why that game was close, right? ESA Blue, same thing. They had so many opportunities to get those rockets. They need to find out ways and communicate better in order to create less hectic situations when those moments arise.
Really, that to me, maybe these coaches need to be, I don't know if they have coaches in their ear right now, but definitely feels as if there's some communication relay that is not necessarily getting where it needs to be. Hallelujah trying to hit these no scopes, not going to be able to get the job done. Overshield up for grabs, and it looks like Oxygen's going to be the team that's fighting primarily at the last second. Oh my God, Triton with the triple, and oh, there's another two ahead of him. The nade shut him down short, and although all that work is done by Triton, Overshield ends up in the hands of Ty, and well, hey, you'll take both the weapons as well. He's about as T-squared as you can get. Let's see if he's going to be able to replicate that Halo 3 success.
Ooh, nice shot by Reverb here. But you need to get into a stronghold. As soon as you get that pick, you got to be flying right now. You're down almost 50 points already, so you won the battle for Overshield. That's great. But Oxygen controlled the strongholds during that period of time, so they're scoring as that battle is going underway. They're finally able to use this snipe, this Overshield, and transition into some stronghold control. They have A and B for now. You know, you want to try and push into C. There's so many members of Oxygen in front of you, though, so maybe a little bit more of a passive play is required here to have success. And I like this by Reverb to be able to relocate several different times, not push his advantages too far, and let the rest of your team manifest some of this push, right? And that's a phenomenal job by ESA Blue. They're going to be able to get a trip cap now, and they've made up every bit of difference in that score, competing for Overshield now with that Overshield. A phenomenal play and rotation by ESA Blue there.
And wow, they got so many points off that first Overshield. The second one coming up soon. We'll see if ESA Blue's able to keep themselves in contention for that one, but it seems as if they're gonna, you know, leave that for Oxygen to grab, and it's gonna be Triton. He was the last line of defense last time for the Overshield. This time, he's gonna be able to get that on his body to see if it makes the difference as he starts to fly towards B.
See what he can do here. He gets repulsed into the wall. Doesn't quite go off the map. That's big to be able to stay alive, be that much of a nuisance, but it is 3 dead for ESA Blue throughout the combat loop. It's Firebird by himself at B, and probably just wants to hold on to B at this point, expecting the rest of Oxygen, once they control B and A, to potentially push across top middle. Unfortunately, just timing is off. He gets stuck by a brew grenade. Not often does it happen, but when it does, it's an unfortunate feeling that's going to put you back in the respawn, and this is allowing Oxygen seconds of points that are starting to accumulate to tie this game up.
Yeah, and well, you see Nemesis, he's already got that middle lane checked. They have an opportunity not only to get these kills, but to get the sniper on top of it. But Nemesis, he had the perfect position, right? But just not able to get those kills. And suddenly ESA Blue, they have a chance here, but boom, had a rough start. That's his first kill of the game, but it was a mighty one. It stops B from switching hands and prevents ESA Blue from getting points on the board easily. Finally going to be able to get that home as Bohm's been able to collect the sniper rifle.
Nobody does get the reset on the B, and that's allowed ESA Blue to transfer B in their favor for ESA Blue. This snipe, it's great, but you need to start progressing towards some of the strongholds. What you're doing right now, it's a difficult situation. Getting out of dodge is not going to be an easy one for him, as he's forced to drop down bottom mud, and this positioning, maybe not the easiest snipe positioning for him, but he does a good job to stay alive, maybe be a nuisance. Can't quite hit the narrow shot. The body shot on the no scope's true. It's allowed his team to get a couple of kills, and holding on to B and C, not the end of the world. They started to amount this lead now, almost over 30 points. With 3 dead, they're looking to push a trip cap.
Boom. Sniper trained on A. You know they want to get towards A, and this Overshield, well, it's going to be everything they need. All 3 players are down low. Triton's feasting on the enemies, and look at this. With that timing, they're going to be able to manipulate whatever spawn they want. And, well, you can already see they know there's a player at back tower somewhere. They're able to get him down right away, and they're going to try to start to cycle. And this is where games get out of hand dangerously fast.
Yeah, absolutely. I was wondering what was happening when they jumped into A and then got out of it. They actually played for the overshield. It ended up being the perfect decision because the overshield manifests itself into a triple kill, a trip cap, and now we'll get that you blink, a couple of slays come through, and now all of a sudden almost 100-point lead now for Oxygen, as they are going to be losing B and A momentarily. A great job by Bone to play his life here, and all he needs to do is stay alive. They have done everything right to build themselves a lead that they can comfortably play around for the rest of the game.
Bone finally taken down. What an extremely long life from Bone right there. If you recall, all the way back to when he stopped B about 3 minutes ago, that was the beginning of that life. He's eventually taken down, and just shows you kind of the kill drought that there's been for ESA Blue. They just have not been able to keep up with these slays, but they're finally getting control of hills. But Triton, they're not. See, I love Oxygen, how aggressive they're being. They do not let these hills stay blue for long. They want to get back into this action, get back control. Unfortunately, though, maybe getting a step too ahead of themselves as they do go down. Chris Common able to get the kill, but you see the counter push at C from ESA Blue, and they want more. Wow, aggressive plays from them to be able to get those kills, and it's translated into a triple cap.
Just great aggression so far throughout Oxygen, but this is the moment, right? Look at the score. It's 20 points right now. Overshield in the hands of Firebird. ESA Blue have been on a roll ever since we've seen them get this trip cap, and now all of a sudden it's a matter of, can Oxygen get out of this, and how quickly can they do it, because this game could be over in just a couple of rounds of slays now. It's a phenomenal rotation here from Firebird. He's able to pick up the kill. The reset on the B comes through. The trip cap, it's denied. A's transferred over, but you're seeing an advanced position right now from Firebird. He's going to be able to rotate to C. From B, he's going to be able to potentially get a free kill on anybody pushing out of A up front, but it is going to be a garage push from Oxygen, and he's in a perfect position to rotate back to B, contest B, and not only that, but look how well he stays alive as his teammates get here. He gets taken down eventually, but I mean, just as well as you can play that if you're Firebird without finding the right timings. Unfortunately for ESA Blue, they did such a good job to come back in this game, but it is going to be Oxygen jumping out with another BC stronghold. Once one went down, all four went down, and that's a crucial mistake in strongholds.
It was 103 uncontested seconds from ESA Blue. Unfortunately for them, they have lost control, and they'll have to see if that is enough to get them back into this game. We are tied up. It's essentially first to 50, and while Oxygen, they're the first ones out of their stance, and they're getting themselves quite a bit of a lead right here. ESA Blue just not able to find the kills on the map. Pac Mandela, he finds himself in trouble. Oxygen, they smell blood in the water. They're not letting anyone survive. Ty last alive, but there's only 25 seconds for them to get into a hill. And now you have to be kind of worried for ESA Blue that if they go down one more time, this game is definitely over. You have to win your next fight.
It's this spawn, right? You got to come off of it hot, and unfortunately, Pac Mandela, he's out of the equation for now. Hallelujah, able to trade one out on the Bomax, but look at these players. They played for Overshield. Do they have time is the question. They're able to transfer B as a lot of this combat loop goes down over towards Overshield. Somebody snuck over to B. They were able to transfer it over, but in the meantime, B being transferred back into Oxygen. The Overshield, it's erased as well. ESA Blue, they have 3 going down. Reverb is going to be the last guy alive, and as they push the trip cap, this is going to be such a difficult situation for ESA Blue to play around.
I see ESA Blue, they're all spawning at back C. They're able to get a home, but they have 10 seconds to get into a hill. And they're decided that B is going to be that hill, and you have all the BRs trained on that open space. There's no way to get to this home, and they are going to fall 3-0. But I mean, that's one of the most deceptive 3-0s you can possibly see. Every single game seemed to be going down to the last moment. But Oxygen, their experience showing through, able to capitalize on each one of those game situations, and are finding themselves in the grand finals already.
And that just shows you the difference between these two teams, right? There's just one more play being made on the side of Oxygen every single game that's making the difference in the game. If you're ESA Blue, you're right there. You just got to have composure. You just got to figure out what's one more thing I could have done better to determine the outcome of this game. And you could be looking at a 3-0 in your favor, right? Aquarius was a 1-cap game. Streets was a 2-kill game. Strongholds was a 50-point game in which, I mean, you're able to cycle that Overshield in that trip cap situation. Just one more round of slays better. That's 50 points on the board. So it's over for them today, but you shouldn't hang your heads low, and you know that this series was a very winnable experience on the side of ESA Blue if you just go back to the drawing board and figure out a couple of things you can get better at. On the side of Oxygen, you're probably sweating. You want to beat the ESA Blue team a little bit better than what you did, but the job got done nonetheless, and you're not thinking about the series you just played.
Absolutely. Guys, that is our first team. Oxygen Esports waiting in the grand finals. We have one more match to determine who will meet them there. In the meantime, let's go back to Yasso in the studio as he breaks down some of this action.
Couldn't agree with Tools more there, talking about how the series score kind of deceptive in terms of looking at how close this series actually was, because yeah, as both he and Clutch correctly pointed out, Esports Arena Blue with a lot of great moments in this series. All three games, honestly, pretty tight down to the finish there, but in the end, Oxygen able to put the finishing touches on each of these three games, so kind of making the most important plays at the most important times to ensure that there was really never any significant hope for Esports Arena Blue in this series. Not able to get a game on the board, and it's the 3-0 there for Oxygen. And Oxygen is a team that I'm excited to see in Orlando. There's certainly the point to be made there about, like, you probably want a series against Esports Arena Blue to be a little cleaner here, right? You would hope to get that 3-0 and have it be a little bit more definitive. Unfortunately, not quite that case, so still some work to be done there from Oxygen on that side, but I'm a big Bohm fan. Nemesis and Common and this entire squad kind of coming together here over the last couple of months. They've had a lot of good showings this year, and I'm hoping that they can build off of that and keep that rolling into Orlando, because of course things get so interesting when you jump outside of kind of that upper echelon of squads, when you're talking about Optic, Cloud9, United FaZe, etc. There's so much opportunity for a lot of these squads outside of those really top teams to make something happen, and Orlando is going to be a big opportunity for that, because of course everyone has their eyes set on the World Championships, but it all starts at Orlando here very soon, and I would like to see Oxygen really make some noise. It really throws back to me to Esports Arena Red in Anaheim last year. Earlier this year, I should say. Can Oxygen do something similar to that? I really hope so, and I'm definitely going to have my eye on them going into LAN. Esports Arena Blue, kind of a similar story as we have here every week. Some issues that they continue to have. Right now, we're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, though, plenty more Halo, guys. Don't go far.
I'll be loading up, they wanna package this. Pray for peace, pacifist, I'm never old enough to give a promise.
I'm fading!
One bad headache can crash your entire game.
Excedrin relieves headaches fast.
Excedrin, game over for headaches.
Some
Hello and welcome back. We weren't gone for too long, Clutch. We're right back in this action, and we have one hell of a matchup for you guys. It's going to be that Native Gaming roster minus one key player. King J not going to be there versus, well, I would like to say everyone's favorite crowd pleasers. You got to know Kratos going to be leading that crew. Hey, you know what? Kratos on a team, baby. I'm a supporter. You know what I'm saying? Take me back to the old days. Allegiance 2016 Worlds, getting 4-0'd in the grand finals. That's where this team belongs. I love crowd pleasers, man. I love Kratos. I want to see these guys really make a step at Orlando.
Yeah, I'll hold my 2 cents there. The last time I watched Kratos play, I'm not sure if he got a kill or not. But
yeah,
it is good to see that he got a team, because I do think that he's got some skill. And although he had a very unfortunate performance in a tournament, we'll call it, it does look like he's got some young talent around him, and very happy to see he's continuing to compete, and happy to see that this roster around him is Ikshana was a guy that has been catching my eye week after week. So I'm excited to see what he's bringing to us. Karmea and Hadev, I mean, those two, they've impressed me several times throughout their young careers. They're trying to hope that maybe this crowd pleasers roster is the one that's going to create some upsets, but right now Native Gaming stands in their way. They don't have King J like we talked about, and we'll see what that means for the likes of Chris Krillsy. That's a tough name to say, and
hey, I think you should change
the rest of the boys.
I've said this multiple times.
Jesus,
Krillsy's name, it's taken me probably like 3 or 4 tournaments of casting.
Krillsy.
It's really hard to say.
Say it with a Q.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Krillsy, one of these players, I'd like to say like a movement demon. Kind of reminds me of like those bound type of players. Very aggressive, wants to get in your face, and he's going to be using a lot of that utility to supplement his movement to do so. But we're already a minute in this game. B's still uncaptured and not a point on the board.
It just as a word of note for any up-and-coming players, make your name very pronounceable. I will like you more. I'm more likely to compliment your individual gameplay with a more easily pronounced name. I'm from the South. Make it easy for me, please.
Hey, it's not like we have another player, that Ikshana, on the other side.
Ikshana's not that bad.
It's not that bad. It's just when you see it for the first time, you're looking at it, you're like,
it looks like he slammed the keyboard.
Yeah, right, exactly. Shana, I believe it's if I am correct, it's supposed to be a phrase. I'm not even gonna. Maybe I'm incorrect. I don't know.
I thought it was an anime character.
No, is it an anime character? That'd be funny
know.
if it was. So. I thought it was supposed to be some sort of religious phrase for one of the religions that doesn't come to my mind right now. But pretty cool to see Ikshana playing. Unfortunately, he said he's not going to make it to Orlando, which is such a shame, because I feel like he's really been hitting some of his best Halo these last few weeks. And he has, I mean, if you're going to a LAN with a player like Kratos on your team, like, that's a team that has the ability to go far, especially with 2 young players like Karmea and Hadev, like really rounding out that roster. This is a crowd pleasers roster that could go to Orlando and find some upsets. Like right now, they've gone 80 unanswered seconds of hill time. They're playing phenomenally well right now. And you'd hope that maybe Ikshana can figure out what's preventing him from going to Orlando, find a solution to that, as, well, we know how much talent this roster has.
Absolutely. I think one of the more commonly up-and-coming known players is Karmea, and someone who's impressed me several times with his individual play throughout 8s, throughout scrims, throughout ESA tournaments. Karmea is usually one of those guys that really sticks out in the lobby, and what I would think is an underdog in this series on the side of crowd pleasers is up 111 now to 0, doing a phenomenal job. The entire squad is of controlling the map so far, but they lose control as I say that, and this is going to be Native Gaming's first opportunity to really try and accumulate some points, but they got a lot of work to do, because this 111 points, it's not going to go away quickly unless you get that trip cap.
Well, they have the gun that talks, so Piggy has the shock rifle. And if anyone tries to make that rotation to A, you have to imagine that it could be short-lived. Piggy not quite ready for that push, and maybe a little too wary of what could be coming from behind, or not wary enough. He's trying his best to survive. Piggy at least able to get the damage. Hey, you know what? I'll take it. You get caught by surprise, player shoots you in the back, does all that he can to get a punch on that player. Eventually the trade comes through, and more importantly, his team still scoring.
Team still scoring, chunking away bit by bit at that lead from crowd pleasers. The question is how long will crowd pleasers allow this to happen? Can they get around a couple rounds of slays in order to deny some of this control? And that's a good couple of kills coming out of Ixana and the boys. They're able to jump into B as well. They transfer that over, but they want the trip cap. There's one player to deal with bottom A. Players are going to be spawning up over towards C, so if you can get this player down at A, you can put the map perfectly here on recharge, and they get that kill. Ixana hops into the stronghold and now in a phenomenal position with this shock rifle to continue map control in his favor. He spots that player jumping up top glass as well, gives Kratos a potential advantage in the fight. And now we'll see if crowd pleasers can hold the AB setup as well.
Oh, one player trying to cause some havoc from behind. It's Aperture. Not quite able to get his mission accomplished. And look at Ixana. He says, no, no, no. You're not going anywhere. Not able to get the punch off. Piggy X survives, but only for a moment.
Ooh.
As the rest of crowd pleasers start to collapse. Oh, my God. Aperture, though, hit some spicy shots and somehow able to survive at those trip stacks. His teammates now getting into those hills. And not quite able to stay alive for now. Native Gaming still looking for an opportunity to get themselves into a 2-cap.
Yeah, you're just not seeing the same level of slaying presence that they usually have without King J right now. And this score, once again, back over 100. So anything Native Gaming did that was good to maybe take a chunk of the lead away from crowd pleasers. Crowd pleasers have been able to set that back into reality for them. And right now, a little bit of a passive play from Aperture. Usually a very strong, fast game type, pace-wise. Is very slow right now from what it feels. And Native Gaming, the longer they take, the fewer mistakes they're going to be able to allow themselves before this one's all said and done. Because look at this, almost 200 points for crowd pleasers.
They're getting rapidly close to closing this one out. Kratos not able to stay alive. And, well, this is a moment that Native Gaming cannot let slip away. Aperture not able to stay alive. His teammate is going to be able to finish that hill. The scoring of crowd pleasers stopped for now, and a potential trip cap on its way.
Team Nade on the Hative. That's a big opening for Native Gaming. The camo player, he runs away, he stays alive. They're going to be able to get B back in their favor, but this is going to be so difficult for them to hold, especially with no map control right now. Two players go down for crowd pleasers. The Native Gaming, they're able to retransfer B over. They get that camouflage in the hands of Piggy, and Piggy doing so much work, not only objective wise but presence wise. He kind of overextends there, doesn't expect two players to spawn elevator on him. He double checks it, and that's terrible timing for Piggy, because that's going to give crowd pleasers a man advantage and an opportunity to retake the A stronghold. It's Aperture that's trying to fend for his life. He can't quite do anything down here though. A little bit of damage, not enough though to make a difference here. And Native Gaming once again on the ropes.
It's truly a mountain to climb for Native Gaming right now. And, well, every time you think they're about to get something done, it seems as if crowd pleasers are able to find the kills on the map. But here we go once again. I think he knows there's a player at that battle edge, but takes his eyes off at the wrong moment. Ixana pumps his way down. He's going to be able to get that kill. Aperture, he's trying to find a home at A. Oh my God, did that connect? No, just short to the left. Aperture able to stay alive, and there we go. Native Gaming with the trip cap. If you want to get back into the game, this is how you do it. Trip cap pressure throughout this entire game. 2 points a second when you do have the trip cap, and that 100-point deficit can quickly be made up.
Starting to take a chunk out of it. Still a lot of work to do, and if C can get transferred over on the side of crowd pleasers, it would be massive just to stop the bleeding, just to give yourself a little bit of fresh air. But they can't get C. It gets shut down. Piggy does a good job to trade over there on that side of the map, and phenomenal job by Chrisley right now to hold A, to anchor A, and somehow they're able to deny anybody from getting into B. They're going to choose to give up C. No pressure on that side of the map, and they've done a good job to get back into this one. It's a 50-point game, but there's still work to do. Camo shock in the hands of Aperture now, and let's see what Aperture tries to do. He tries to be aggressive. The drop shot, it's not GA'd by him. He uses it well to play his life, get a kill. 4 dead for crowd pleasers as well.
This is devastating for crowd pleasers. And Aperture, he leaves immediately, tries to get that pipe spawn. He knows the exit route. Unfortunately, not able to hit the headshots, but all that information's been known. They're trying to get towards A, and the last player struggling towards B. Aperture knows all of this, and well, it's going to be easy cleanups for him. And suddenly, the Mountain, well, they've reached the apex. Now it's time to find their way down, find the conclusion to this game as they are rapidly approaching the 250-point mark.
Absolutely. What a comeback this is. Over 100-point deficit they were able to manifest here. 217 now to 222. Moments away from taking the lead. They hop into B. There's too much pressure for Carmea to deal with, but he's doing such a good job of just buying time and forcing Native Gaming to play defense, or forcing crowd pleasers to play defense.
We'll have to see if all that energy for Native Gaming was used to reach the tip top.
Oh.
Carmea, just, you know, when you need him the most, he starts to light it up. He's been able to get some massive kills towards the end of this game. They're to 240. But Native Gaming, they've gotten control once again. Hative able to find Piggy Exon. He has an opportunity here if he can get more kills. Unfortunately, he's caught out, and this is dangerous, dangerous, dangerous as Carmea goes down.
Make it 4.
Oh, no. Camo as well going in the hands of Mines crowd pleasers. They're on life support.
How does Mines play this is the question. He's got camouflage. He can just sit in the back of A and just bait it. Right now, crowd pleasers is looking to try and push it. He's going to pick up a very easy kill. Can he find a second? He does just that. The last two players, they're hopping into B, and he's got to get over there in order to deny B from being transferred. B is going to be transferred over. That player is going to jump into yellow, but good team shots by Native Gaming keep Mines and the boys in this one for now. They're unable to capture B. There's going to be a push from the respawners of crowd pleasers. They get into B. Can they get the reset? The reset comes through. You got to go now. You're full shield. Aperture hesitates, and because Aperture hesitates, crowd pleasers get the reset, get the final 3 points, and that is a mistake you cannot make in high level Halo, and crowd pleasers make them pay for it for the game 1 win.
I love Aperture and all he's able to do, and you gotta have the game sense right there, just awareness to know that there's no other play. You gotta get forward, get in that hill. You know, it might not have worked, but at least you're giving your team an opportunity to get in there.
Fairly certain it would have worked too. That's the thing.
Yeah,
if you're just holding forward. I mean, that's exactly what the player for crowd pleasers did, right? They were both in a very similar situation where one spawned long haul, one spawned turbine. One of them sprint slid into hill, the other one hesitated and kind of did a little bit of nothing there. And when that happens, it's like the reward the aggressor there, especially the one that's in the objective.
Yeah, that's just a tough one, especially like how much work Native Gaming had to do to get back in that game.
That's deflating for sure.
Yeah, this is just a devastating loss for them. Obviously, both teams had their chances at the end. It gets right down to the wire. And Aperture wishing he had a moment back, but he'll have to recover on the Slayer live fire. It's what's up next. Sniper going to be so important on this map. We know there's some talented ones ready to put it to work. Honestly, Clutch, why don't you run me down some of your keys to victory? How do you play live fire? What do you need to do in order to win this map?
I think you said it best. A lot of the gameplay revolves around the S7, revolves around the heat wave and the overshield. If you're able to give yourself those advantages, it typically transitions into game wins. We'll see how well of control these kind of teams can have throughout the map. When they do have those advantages, that's typically going to show you how well they're put together, how chaotic is it for them. And crowd pleasers wins the battle early for overshield positioning. It's not going to spawn quite up yet. And because of that, Native Gaming are able to come off spawn, have a favorable position now that they've gotten some slays, and they get that first overshield. Sniper is going to go in the hands of Carmea.
Well, he's got plenty to work with. Look at that little sentinel charm on the top of the sniper right there. Love to see those play off charms. All of them pretty good. Shout out to the HCS team over there with Carmea. Again, right into that action. He's able to find one, and Carmea hoping to find out that he knows. He sees, oh, come on, give it to him. The game needs to be a bit more forgiving than that. He saw that I'd say the pin, what do you call that? Your elbow, basically. Just the very point of his elbow is out of that wall. Unfortunately, the hitbox, I guess, does not extend that far, and it's not going to connect, but love the effort.
What can he do? To keep his teammate alive, can't hit the shot, can't keep his teammate alive, loses his teammate. Not only that, a little bit of control in house, and this is going to be a tough situation where he's forced to relocate. S7 bottom middle is not where you want to be. You're going to have to hit a no scope here. Let's get a nice flank onto the tower player, and unsuspectingly he's able to pick up the repulsor as well. So a great relocation here now by Carmea on the top tower. He's got snipe in hand, but the shot's just not coming through, and you really want to hit some of these in order to give your team a little bit of separation here. It's a 1-kill game in favor of Native Gaming, but typically the power weapons are what you really want to talk about here, but they're not creating much of a power curve right now. The Heatwave player does get taken down, but S7's out of play. Overshield coming up, and neither team really taking an advantage of any of the power they've been able to achieve so far on the map.
Yeah, I felt like Carmea just needed to settle himself down a little bit right there. We're seeing a pretty wild whips with those sniper rifle, and not quite able to get the kills that he wants, but his teammates have just been able to light it up. Ikshana gets the overshield once again, gets the free kill. And this is an opportunity. You see all these players at Native Gaming, they're stuck at back B. Native Gaming are starting to fall, and all Crowd Pleasers needs to do is make sure that they don't get killed for free. Every single kill must get at least traded. And while you're seeing that happen in the feed, Crowd Pleasers take themselves a 3-kill lead. Beautiful collapse on those players at back B.
How are they going to play this? This is such a tough position to try and push out of, but there's not a lot of resources for Native Gaming to deny this push. So the first player he's taken down, that's allowed them to get out of that back tower situation. The snipe is up. You know, everybody on the map wants their hands on that. Such an opportunistic weapon for the individually talented players in the game right now, and it's going to be Hative that gets away with it after picking up a kill. A smart play by him. A 3-kill lead for Crowd Pleasers, and another chance to really extend that lead now that you've got the snipe in hand.
Native Gaming, they just have not controlled the power weapons at all.
Yeah, anything really. Heatwave.
Hey, you know, the Heatwave is basically as powerful as that sniper rifle, especially
more
the right
powerful.
player. Yeah, honestly, and it's going to be the main primary reason why they're right back in this game. 20-20. Mines able to get the sniper, and oh my, this is the one player in the lobby that kind of worries me the most with this sniper rifle. He's the player that you count on to really snap on those heads, get the shots to win these games. With Overshield coming up, 2 players from Crowd Pleasers going right into the action. They're quickly seeing the respawn screen.
What else can Mines do? Great shots from the battle rifle. Great choice to switch to the battle rifle to knock that player down, but this Overshield battle is still underway. Piggy needs some help. This Mine's going to be the player that gives him it. Is the question. There's so many players from Crowd Pleasers out towards this Overshield. It's only going to take one of them getting up. But Mine's not going to let that happen. A beautiful headshot right there. A nice body shot and 3 straight kills. Crowd Pleasers, they overextend through the Overshield. They don't suppress the sniper. And when you don't suppress that sniper, and he's just aimed down sight there, the good players are going to hit the shot. The great players are going to hit the headshot. And all of a sudden, it's a 3-kill lead for Native Gaming. Not only that, they're going to have an Overshield to play around and map control as well.
Yeah, I mean, what a transversal of this game. You know, just moments ago, it was 3 kills that Native Gaming need to overcome, and now they find themselves at the 6-kill lead. And already finding players immediately off their spawn. Crowd Pleasers just have completely lost all control. And Native Gaming, they're taking as much advantage as possible. You start to see all these players from Crowd Pleasers outside towards this Overshield, and you see all of Native Gaming getting ready to get back in that fight. And I didn't see that Aperture's been holding an Overshield this entire time.
Yeah, he's surrounded right now. Needs to make sure he doesn't get back smacked, but 3 kills come through. You blink, and the lead, it's up to 9 now. Native Gaming have transitioned that Overshield push, that failed push from Crowd Pleasers, where they gambled on Mines maybe not hitting the shots that he hit. And that almost cost them the game right now, because ever since then, it's been all Native Gaming. Make it a 10-kill game now, and Chrisley showing you he's got what it takes to replace King J for today. 11-5-5 is a hell of a start to a game 2.
Crowsey always has these showy performances when he does play at his best. His main problem is just not been able to get these types of games consistently. But my God, does he have the ability to take over. Fortunately for them, Overshield has gone into the hands of Crowd Pleasers. Mines was able to get away with the sniper, but he's not going to be able to get far. Overshield going to win that fight. And now, as the game starts to come towards its conclusion, Crowd Pleasers have a little bit of life, but they cannot let this one come short. They need to capitalize on this opportunity.
You got to figure out a way to almost go 2 for 1 in a lot of these trades, and it's such a difficult situation right now for these boys. Not a lot of room to play around, and it's so easy in this moment in time for Native Gaming to trade efficiently, right? Capitalize on each other's damage, and you're going to find yourself successful.
Shauna, players creeping towards his left. One's going to make the push through middle, but players surround him. Hey, he's able to get some good value, though. Although any death right now can feel as if it's a massive blow, as now it's 45 kills for Native Gaming. Every time a player goes down, less and less opportunity for Crowd Pleasers to make their way back in this game, but they still have 3 sniper shots left to try to equalize this game.
You wave of the storm. No, the shots are just too crisp. And even though Native Gaming lose that push, 47-42, it's a winnable game for Crowd Pleasers, but just every kill just is so heavy on a mindset, and it just limits your opportunity in your win con on the side of Crowd Pleasers. That's a massive kill on a mindset. You're able to trade it out. Nobody able to be there to potentially capitalize on anything. Mines just did. Grillsy, he goes down 48-44, but this flank is perfect from Aperture. Finds 2, damage onto a 3rd, but the kill comes through, and Native Gaming get the job done. It maybe wasn't the prettiest ending, but they tie this series up, and rightfully so. I mean, let that be a lesson for everybody watching, anybody competing still in Halo, that like when that overshot's coming up and you know they have a sniper.
Welcome back, everyone. We're still in this middle map. You know, sometimes the internet doesn't like to be helpful, and we've seen a little bit of everything. A 1-0 lead for Crowd Pleasers thus far. Native Gaming, well, while you guys were gone, they sent themselves flying through the middle map and somehow found the bottom of the map when they tried to run the flag one time. We'll see if they're able to clean up those mistakes. But so far, Crowd Pleasers were the first one to strike, but Krillsy puts in the tying score, so we're right back into it. 1-4, essentially. Let's just say it's we're right back to the start. You know, you guys didn't miss anything. This is the beginning of the game.
Yeah, it's tied up 1-1. Might as well be 0-0 right now. 3 go down for Crowd Pleasers. It's 2 down for Native. They do a good job on the side of Native to deny the counter cap, and actually it's a double cap. I'm sorry, from Native Gaming. A phenomenal job by them to keep map control, get that flag on the move, and great shots from Mines to keep map control once again. The Commander Rifle doing so much damage in the hand of Mines. He gets a melee off. Can he get the triple? He does just that. Ikshana, a little bit of body disrespect on the side of Mines, and all of a sudden Native Gaming using the momentum from game 2 to heat up here in game 3.
I think he was able to get it around into that corridor, but he was not able to stay alive. Mines gonna have to pick up that mantle of responsibility, and question is, does he have enough time? There's players coming from his back, and no, not able to get around that corner. So that death from Piggy being felt as Crowd Pleasers is going to be able to get this return. The flag stop short, and Native Gaming had to be kicking themselves. That was a great opportunity for a flag cap, and it's just one hair of a second that stops them from capturing.
Yeah, just one hair, but that's all it takes to give Crowd Pleasers a little bit of life. 2 caps is a lot of an advantage to have here. It's a good job by Crowd Pleasers to keep this at a 1 cap game. They're trying to get that 2nd cap on the move, and great shots from Carmea. Even better job to position himself perfectly to get that flag continuously moving as soon as he hits the shots. And this is going to be a massive opportunity for Crowd Pleasers to tie this one up, but he gets shut down by Piggy, and this one's not in yet.
Oh my god, Kratos just got absolutely melted off his overshield. He popped it, went around the corner. There was a pulse rifle waiting for him. 5 little globs of blue take off his overshield, but he's still alive and gonna make an impact. And we start to see Carmea finish the flag. It is going to go in. Game tying flag from Carmea. 5 minutes left to fight with, as both these teams are doing their best. And it looks like Native Gaming, they thought maybe, hey, they're going to be resting on their laurels a little bit. We can maybe get into this map right away. But no, Crowd Pleaser's ready for the push. Stop Native Gaming short. And while Mine's trying to do his best, he's able to get one. But his team's still far behind.
Skewer doesn't hit the shot, and because of it, pays for it with his life there. Unfortunately, 3 go down for Native. Last guy alive, Piggy's stuck in a position that's pretty tough to get out of. Top middle. Gonna try and drop bottom. Went the base. You can usually play your life a little strong there. Chooses to take the fight, and unfortunately gets taken down. As we step back, taking a look at the stats, Piggy and Aperture having an absolute monster performance. Mine's right behind them. The swaying heavily in the favor of Native Gaming, but a great job by Crowd Pleasers, that is, to stay in this one. Even though you're getting outslayed, the scoreline's still tied up 2-2, and if Crowd Pleasers can just create enough opportunity for the objective, they may be able to steal this one.
Mine's just checking all of his corners. Just couldn't check the right one. Native eventually comes out as somewhere and gets the beat down at Aperture. He's going to have to deal with 2 more pushers. Not going to be able to survive. And now Overshield coming up. It's Carmea who has in his hands. And while his opponents, well, they just like to see the bottom of the screen. I guess it's the second time we've seen a player from Native Gaming make their exit through the bottom of the map. And Carmea needs to take advantage.
Needs to take advantage. Can he, though, is the question. Mine's the first. But a grenade just pushes everyone back. They take the same route in that small hallway, and that's going to be the case. It's going to allow Native Gaming to reset on the defensive end, but Native with another pick there. Can they get 2? That's the openings they need. Last 2 players alive are nowhere near this flag. Can they get a pull and get it going quickly? It's going to be spawners on this side as well, so if they choose to run it towards this direction, which they did, they're going to have to reslay it all over again.
Not necessarily the worst. As long as they win the fights, this is basically a guaranteed flag cap. Oh no. Not able to get the kill versus Aperture. Now it's up to Ikshana, but the nades are too much, and well, the risky play does not work for the team Crowd Pleasers. They're going to go 4 down, and well, Piggy X, he's quickly trying to find himself to a counter cap.
Yeah, you try to run it towards the spawners, but you need that round of slays. If you don't get it, that's going to be the cap. You give them the opportunity to stagger that cap as well. And Native Gaming, they take that opportunity, and look at this. They turn it into one of their own. It's going to be a flag on the move. I believe one player did spawn over here. He might have actually gotten taken down, though. There he is. Kratos, the first one to go down. Now it's going to be numbers advantage on the side of Native Gaming as they bring the flag into their base. We got to dodge these grenades. They got to continue the flag on the move. More importantly, they need to get kills. They do none of that. And because of it, 4 go down for Native Gaming, and a counter cap once again for Crowd Pleasers.
Is there anyone that spawns to the right? No. Crowd Pleasers going to have an open lane. Now it's just going to be a race to home, but Native just misses the button press, and we'll have to see if that comes to punish. You know, those 3 to 5 seconds, they can be so punishing on this map. It's so important to get this flag away. One player waiting at the back of the base. It's Mines. He's able to get the first. Ikshana able to get Krillsy, but Mines is still alive in the fight. Piggy goes down. Still one more player to deal with, and there's like 3 one-shots trying to push into him. It's Aperture. Aperture takes all 3.
Aperture with a massive play gets the return as well. Ada's going to stop him from running the flag, but each one of these situations, both teams want these caps so bad to be able to take the lead. 1:20 on the clock. You can almost guarantee if there is a cap in regulation, it could be the deciding one that takes the lead in this series for both sides. But both teams' defense is standing strong. The overextenders have become true, and they're going to need that to be a reality again on the side of Native Gaming, because Kratos is in your base running this 3rd and potentially final flag.
Is he gonna? No, he's gonna go through the hallway. I was thinking maybe, hey, this is your chance to fly right through the middle again, but Mine's no. He decides to go through the hallway.
The repulsor.
First. Oh, the repulsor comes in clutch to stop the nade. Krillsy, he still has this one going. It's a foot race to home, and there's no one in his path. Krillsy, moments away from taking the lead, and now with only 38 seconds, it seems as if it's an impossible task for Crowd Pleasers.
What a play by Mines to repulse the insta grenades, the plasmas that were coming through to hop the return, to push his flag out with the same repulsor, and then repulses the frag to be able to secure the return. Mine's doing it all there in order to give Native Gaming the lead they need. And now 15 seconds left. Crowd pleasers have to push. It's up to Ixchana. He's got to take down the entire team. He's not going to be able to do that with just 10 seconds. You'd have to think Native Gaming are going to take the lead in this series.
Native Gaming get the job done. They're up. The swing game goes to them. And, well, Mines, he makes a clutch play. And Aperture with an impressive stat line, 23 and 14 with double-digit assists from him. He was having his way. And honestly, a little bit surprising that crowd pleasers were able to keep the game as close as they were when they're as heavily outslayed as they were.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, crowd pleasers has been scrappy throughout this entire game, right? Or this entire series. I think that that's a good quality to have as a team, but there's clear situations where you got to come out on top, where you have to make a difference, and haven't been able to. Native Gaming have just been too strong in some of these situations. You even have flag blunders several times on the side of Native Gaming that could have potentially extended the lead in their favor. When those opportunities happen, you have to take advantage of them, and it was not done by crowd pleasers in that game. They're going to fall behind in this series after having that 1-0 lead once upon a time after game one. All of a sudden, you find yourself hoping, wishing, praying for a game 5, and it's going to be settled on Streets, King of the Hill, in order to try and get there.
The thing for crowd pleasers, right? You know, you've been playing scrappy, you've been playing great when it comes to keeping yourself in the game, right? But you have to be able to take control of the game, and that's what we're going to have to see on King of the Hill on Streets, because you can't cheat the slays on King of the Hill on Streets. So many open hills where if you're just not getting by with your slays, you're going to get punished time and time again. We need to see more from crowd pleasers when it comes to just winning the fights. And we know that talent's there, right?
Absolutely. I think a lot of it has to do with just coordination. I know crowd pleasers hasn't been teaming together for a long time, so maybe that comes with a little bit more practice and preparation. But right now, even though without King J, Native Gaming look like the more cohesive team.
Yeah, honestly, King J being missing is it's a big blow to this team, but I think it's been a great opportunity for Krillsy to show what he's made of, right? We've seen multiple games now where Krillsy's been very impressive.
Yeah, he's playing well. He's definitely filling in the shoes. He's definitely doing his part. And after a questionable game one, where at times crowd pleasers looked like it was going to be a blowout, Native Gaming have done everything right since, it seems, right? Towards the end of that game, they maybe made a mistake here or there that costed them the strongholds in a very hefty comeback. Live Fire Slayer, they did a lot of good things, and in Catalyst CTF, we saw them really dictate the entire pace. I'll be very interested to see how this King of the Hill game goes, because this is going to be probably the more structured objective that these guys have played up in this series, and it's coming in at game 4.
Well, game 4 on your screen, and Rockets being fought for, and well, they're being won by Native Gaming right now. Ixchana, the last player live in Aperture, he's going to get away with the boomsticks, and he's going immediately back towards PD. Wants to make sure they do not spawn here. And while he's already isolating himself some juicy one-on-ones, and these Rockets, you have to imagine he comes out on top. Kratos going to go down. And Aperture's job right here, just to secure the flank. His teammates will do all the work towards Hill.
Aperture trying to do some construction work over in the arcade. Can't do that. Can't play his life either. And it's going to be a costly death. That's going to give crowd pleasers some numbers. You'd hope that they're able to hop in this hill and play their numbers advantage to get some of this time under their belt. There's too much pressure coming from downhill, and maybe not the coordination crowd pleasers needed either. Some kills are going to be traded here and there, but Native Gaming going to have the advantage after having a man down at the start of the fight. Not something you want to see on the side of crowd pleasers if you're hoping for a game 5.
And they've just been desperately trying to get everyone up at the same time and make a cohesive push, but it just has not come to fruition. And already it's a trap, you know, laying weight is Aperture. B was able to get that damage, and now his teammates starting to come from behind, and it's those spike nades, man. They're going to do a hell of a lot of damage in the back of B right there. Not able to get the kill, but certainly keeping players out of the hill for now. As Mines comes up for the cleanup, he's going to get 3. That player last alive, made weak by his nades, finishing his job, and I love this from Mines. He knows what the next step is, right? These rockets are coming up. He wants to get the angle. He knows the spawns. And so far, I mean, Native Gaming, they're not getting time. They're playing for these rockets, and it's a clear effort made from them to secure these this power weapon.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of the longest first hills we've seen in King of the Hill, in all honesty. Second pair of rockets comes up during them, and not a little bit just over halfway. But now Native Gaming have put themselves in such a good position to dictate how the rest of this hill is going to go. A great job by Mines there. Finds a two-piece with the rockets. Does pay for it with his life, but I mean, as long as someone's in the hill during all this chaos, you're going to be able to gain so much time. And as I say that, the first point, it's going to Piggy and the boys on the side of Native Gaming. It's because they were able to secure those rockets and put them to use.
Great movement, right, Piggy?
Yeah.
Skin behind. He knows that there's a player in hill and does not want to expose himself. That player very much clearly knows that Piggy's hiding around that corner. The nades connect, but Piggy decides, hey, I'm not going to wait for my shields. I'm going to go anyway, get some damage in. Not going to be enough for the kill, and Piggy needs to make his mind to how he wants to make this push. As we see, Mines is already secured this hill. I mean, Native Gaming, I just think are playing at a tier above right now. I mean, look at the slates. It's not close in the column.
No, it's not. I mean, you can tell how much chemistry these guys have. You can tell the skill is there to match. Mines throws the drop wall down in the hill, says, take this. Objective player jumps up with the stalker, finds himself a perfect kill, finds himself a nice one shot for the killing spree, and now all of a sudden Mines really starting to take over here, and just phenomenally done controlling the power weapons, putting them to use. I mean, it's the name of the game in Halo Infinite, and Mines is just perfectly playing his life as well to pair it all off with. And looking at the score right now, this hill very close to being capped. Crowd Pleasers have a little bit of time, but they're going to need a perfect setup for a couple rounds of slays if they want to score this point.
Already, I mean, Crowd Pleasers, they get scrappy in that hill, stop it for just a second, but not able to get the spawns in their favor. They're going to lose that hill. And with rockets coming up once again, this is a must win for Crowd Pleasers. And you can see Native Gaming putting about every BR available to watch that rockets. Unfortunately, not going to be enough for them. Xana wins the fight for the rockets. Now it's time to execute.
Got the rockets to use. Yeah, you just know that that's not where you want to be with rockets. But fortunately, Kratos able to find a double. Last player alive is going to be that player in arcade. You got to make sure you don't take him down, but knowing his location is a big advantage here because they're going to be able to probably predict where the spawners are coming from. There's a couple in Tram, but a couple are going to be coming from arcade, and an advanced death from Carmea. It's 4 down for Crowd Pleasers, what once looked like complete control. With every opportunity to do what you wanted, it turned into 4 going down moments later, and that's something that cannot happen.
And look, Aperture, he has the cross. He's going to know about all these players that make their way. And even if he doesn't necessarily get these kills, what he is doing is he's drawing much of the action back as far away from the hill as possible. And even on top of that, he's going to be able to get kills. And although they lose control of the hill for a second, Aperture is now going to be able to leave that spawn, open it up, and get right back into the engagements. Oh, looks like
that he's playing his life here.
Interesting.
Good amount of time here for Crowd Pleasers. They need this point to get back in it. You're not going to come back down 3-0. You'd have to think. Under 3 minutes on the clock as well. It's a great job by them to get around the slays. That's almost going to guarantee them this point. It's going to move to shotgun as well, and perfect job by Hayden to be here to deny some space. But as rockets are coming up, you want to see Crowd Pleasers focus on the set of rockets, maybe grab some of the time here, but more so create some space, get some kills proactively in order to secure these rockets a little bit easier.
And this is a massive opportunity for Crowd Pleasers, right? Nothing went right for them to start this game, but you're still just one hill away from getting yourself back to even and being able to ignore a disastrous start.
Yeah.
Like Shana, he's able to jump himself away, and Krillsy's rocket's not going to be able to do full damage. Although he's forward, he wants to find a kill with this rocket.
This is the tough part. Pushing out arcade's so difficult when you're spawning on this side of the map, and I mean, you just have so much to clear. And Krillsy, he finds the opening, gets the easy back smack, gonna push PD now, and gonna have teammates to help him cut off the angles. And that first kill, it's a snowball effect, and once again the red room spawns coming back through for Crowd Pleasers, and so much time on the board for Native Gaming, and they haven't been able to make up any space or have any signs of life towards this shotgun hill ever since it moved there. And because of that, Native Gaming take that 2 cap advantage into the final point bottom middle. And I mean, this is where it gets ugly, right? If you're crowd pleasers, all of a sudden the clock might not be a factor at 2:37, but how do Native Gaming want to play this? Do they want to play scrappy? Do they want the clock to become a factor? Because they have that option to stick off the wall to make it even worse. And now crowd pleasers with 4 down. The hill neutralized. TikTok goes the clock, and Native Gaming, they're going to play time here as no one jumps in the hill with all 4 dead.
And, you know, this is everything's going right for Native Gaming, but this might be a little bit of a symptom of suffering from success, right? They've been able to capture hills so fast that there's still 2 minutes on the clock, right? So even if you are playing for time, naturally with how much time there is left on the clock, you're giving crowd pleasers an opportunity to capture this hill. The idea behind this is not that you're technically hoping that crowd pleasers, or you're not playing for crowd pleasers not to get this bottom mid hill. You're hoping that time passes. By the time that they cap this 3rd hill, there's only seconds left, right? There's 30 seconds or left that they have to play almost perfect Halo in order to deny that and to deny like the potential to tie the game up. Absolutely, we'll have to see if that strategy comes to their success. Rockets are up, and they do go into hands of Native Gaming, and honestly, they can do whatever the hell they want to do if they keep slaying the way that they are. This is just an absolute blowout when it comes to just the one-on-one fights. Every single time it seems as if the feed bleeds red, as there's just nothing that crowd pleasers have been able to do. 2 players yet to reach those double-digit marks, and well, we have a lag out or a quit out. I'm not sure one or the other. But we'll see how this game continues on, as we are missing 1 player from the side of crowd pleasers.
It's tough to see. I'm not sure what the ruling is going to be, but my opinion, that game, that one had a bow on it for me. Yeah, that one was over. So wouldn't be surprised if the player just said, hey, you know, it's Friday, I'm going to get out of here a little early. You guys didn't want to show up to this series, so I'm out. But that's not a conversation that allows you to stay on the team very long either. So we'll see what happens there. I know crowd pleasers is still a very new formed team. Not sure if they're planning on going to Orlando still or whatnot, but it's tough to see them not be able to finish out the game as far as a result. And if Native Gaming are forced to jump back into the server and finish that game out, they're going to feel like they were pressed for an opportunity that they're probably not going to be able to replicate.
Yeah, if I'm Native Gaming, I'm saying, hey, put the game time on 1 minute. Like, I don't even want to give these guys like anything to work with. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's a tough one for them to swallow, because that's like some of the most control I've ever seen in a King of the Hill.
They were playing Team Slayer at that point.
Yeah, I mean, at one point, remember, we're sitting at that last hill. They have a player at bottom A, 1 in like tires, 1 at B plat, and then 1 in bottom C. It's like, that's about as much map control as you could possibly have on streets. They're forcing them into cafe and purple. Just an absolutely devastating spawn trap, and it just showed with how many slays that this Native Gaming roster was getting.
Yeah, when you're getting rocketed from like heaven all the way to like red room, that's a problem. That's when you know the team is playing pretty confidently.
Well, it looks like it is going to be a victory for Native Gaming. Crowd pleasers deciding to give up that last map, knowing that there really wasn't much of an opportunity for them to get back into that game. Love to see that sort of sportsmanship if it was a lag out. We're going to go into the grand finals, and it's going to be Native Gaming versus Oxygen Esports for our grand finals.
Yeah, it should be a good one. I know Oxygen had a close series before, and Native Gaming, they started to hit their potential right there. Even without King J, they started to look good. And looking forward to this grand finals, I'd have to give the favor to Oxygen if the two were to collab, just because Native doesn't have their full team. But we'll see what Curlsley has to offer, right? This is a big opportunity for him to just showcase to the rest of the top 24, the top 16, hey, I got some skill, and when given the right teammates, I can have a lot of success.
Absolutely. Guys, grand finals coming up next, but before we get to that, let's go back to Yeso in the studio to break down some of this action.
Thanks, gents. Nice win there from Native. They take the 3-1 win over Crowd Pleasers. They will meet Oxygen in our grand finals today. Of course, $500 on the line. Winner take all in that matchup. So Crowd Pleasers and Esports Arena Blue, unfortunately, done for the day. And Crowd Pleasers starting strong, right? They win game one. They take the lead. And it really felt like they just kind of started on the right note. And you hear Clutch there talking about, hey, Native's not here in full force. They don't have the full roster here today. But they did seem to, as Clutch said, kind of settle into this series, really start to hit their stride, especially in games 3 and 4. And they were especially dominant there in game number 4. So closing that series out kind of on the highest note, having your best game there at the end when it matters most, when you have Crowd back. Wall certainly is pretty good there. Well played from Native. Clutch making a good point there, talking about how not having that roster. Certainly mean that Oxygen is the favorite going into this series. I'm conflicted, especially with Oxygen coming off of a set where, yeah, I'm having some mic issues. We're just going to go to a break, folks. We'll be right back with your grand finals.
Listen up, esports should be for everyone. That's why Esports Arena's launched our own tournament series called Player vs. Everyone, where you get to compete at multiple different titles, multiple different locations, whenever you want. Just watch this and check it out. I believe we have the best Apex Legends PvE player. Oh, I think he's close to breaking the record. Best Apex Legends player in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Whoa, whoa, Tyler, hold up a second. We got someone out here in Salt Lake about to smash the record. What'd I tell you? Salt Lake City every time.
PvE has something for everyone. Here in Miami, we absolutely crush it at Mario Kart. Coming to the final part. Oh, there we go. And that's going to be the top score for the day. See if you can beat that on the leaderboard.
The day's not over yet, Luke. Here at Esports Arena Cincinnati, we have somebody who's going to beat the Mario Kart record. So close. But the good news is you can always try again.
That's PvE in a nutshell. So find your nearest esports arena because it could be you atop the leaderboard. See you later.
When the chicken is this crispy and this tasty, it doesn't matter what else is for dinner. Tyson crispy strips are so delicious, they'll be your favorite part of every meal. More crispy chicken, more family faves, more to love. Tyson.
Welcome back to your Esports Series E action. We're in the middle of game one, right away auction versus Native Gaming. $500 on the line. I'm Tools, and I am joined by Clutch for this grand finals.
Let's get it going. Grand finals time. Oxygen, Native Gaming, both winning their best of fives to get here. Who's going to be the player that stands out here in the grand finals for MVP for the series? Common starts it off with 3 kills to his name, the S7 in his back pocket with an opportunity to try and manifest a comeback in at least this first hill. Looks like Native Gaming, before we joined up, got a good significant portion of time, but great job by Oxygen to fight back. Nice body shot from Common. What else can he do? Some brew grenades doing some damage.
Oh no.
Plays his life, doesn't force the objective, and with that, Common making a great play, but unfortunately just doubles up with a teammate, and that's 2 easy kills for Native Gaming. But this battle, it's still underway, and Triton's starting to rip heads.
Yeah, smart play for Triton, right? He doesn't like just jump in that hill and let them know exactly where he's at. Hides himself, lets the player think that there's no one at back B, gets the easy snipe because of that. And although Native Gaming are just seconds away from capturing this hill, they've lost control. And Auction have a great opportunity here to steal this one away, but they have to start winning some pivotal fights. And with Krillsy having the overshield, you have to imagine they're just going to try to get back to hill 2.
Yeah, this is massive. They're able to get into this hill. They're able to secure the point on the side of Native. They're able to turn that overshield straight into a strongholds point there. That's not typically the case every single time, but this time it's going to directly impact the objective. And who was able to take advantage? It was a very chaotic first hill, as we could see. Native Gaming able to thrive in that chaos as this hill does move to tower. A little bit more stable of a hill, a little bit more of a setup and control dynamic to go, and we'll see which team can thrive in that kind of an atmosphere here. Is it going to be Native Gaming jumping out to a 2-0 lead, or will Oxygen tie this up?
Oxygen, they try to get control. Well, Nemesis, he's going to be the only player that survives, but he has an onslaught of players from Native trying to get towards him. He's able to at least get one. Neither team really able to get a good foothold into this hill yet, and Chris Common, he's still trying to make this one a bit mixy as he's able to get the first and hopefully buying enough time for his teammates to come finish his fight. Unfortunately for them, Oxygen Esports just cannot quite they can't quite seem get the full wipe. You know, it's trade after trade, and they're not winning the fights for spawns.
No, they're not. It's going to be Native Gaming that's going to gain the first chunk of time here on the second hill, with Overshield coming up as well. Can they get over there to be able to compete for it? Beautiful. You found the S7, you can compete for the Overshield. Potentially will do a little bit more damage from this hill. They're going to opt to get out of it. No, they're not in a position to try and deny this Overshield just yet. Nobody from Native Gaming here to help Chrisley, and he's forced to back up back tower and play his life. He's got Piggy with him now, and the good teamwork out of the two to deny that player from pressurizing the back tower, and a phenomenal break right there from Native Gaming. You're seeing Overshield still go down. It's eventually going to go into the hands of Piggy. And how well was Krillsy able to play that situation in order to give Native Gaming this massive advantage and potentially a 2-0 lead here moments away?
Yeah, Krillsy really seemed to know what his responsibility was and did it to a T, really providing opportunity for Native Gaming not only to get control of that hill, then get control of the overshield and keep the momentum that they have in this game. Auction Esports, they're struggling just to find a foothold, something to hang up as their own. Really haven't been able to win the initial fights for spawns. Once again, it's Native Gaming who come out on top. They haven't been able to win on rotations. They haven't been able to really put up a fight necessary for Native Gaming to be sweating at all. This is a 2-0 lead, and it's quickly looking as if it could grow to a 3-0 lead. And getting up on 3 hills on King of the Hill, you might as well call it a death sentence. Pro level gameplay, I don't think I've ever seen a comeback down 3-0.
No, I haven't either, and I've played my fair share of King of the Hill at what I would consider a fairly high level, and not often are you able to even come back from 2 points, let alone 3, and time becomes a factor eventually. You'd have to think a phenomenal stick there on the side of Common, able to get a kill, but it's not enough. Native Gaming still in the hill. still get the slays they need. It was all 4 dead momentarily on the side of Oxygen, and now pressure just continuing to build. At this point, it's almost guaranteed now to go in the hands of Native with the recent spawns that they've been given towards the house and Oxygen force back tower.
And Native don't seem to be done yet, right? They're setting up for this overshield. They're ready.
This is perfect
for the next hill, and it's gonna have to be some pinpoint play. I think mine's I think it's stuck in the wall. It's
no, he
stuck.
had a repulsor. He had a repulsor. So yeah, he had 1 repulsor left, so didn't exactly pick up that overshield. It got to be a little messy, and maybe that's a sign from God that Oxygen can get back into this when they needed it. When they needed it, God gave it to them, but what can they do with it now? It's not going to be all God given to you. Half the points in your favor. You got the S7, you got an overshield. You got to score this point quickly. If ever we have seen a 3-point comeback, it almost needs to be a perfect setup for this point to deny time from going off the clock.
Well, the last 2 players alive for Auction, they have a sniper and an overshield respectively. You'd have to hope that's enough for them to hold on, but this is beautiful done by Mines, right? He's not going to just force himself into the hill. He knows there's a sniper waiting somewhere. He knows that it's his responsibility to make sure that sniper does not have the ability to transform this game. Yes, they gave up a ton of time on this hill originally, but now that they have the sniper rifle, you could definitely see them making a play and stopping this one a little bit short.
Yeah, I mean, they've stopped this one short right now. This point is not guaranteed either. When you get a setup on this point, the time starts to tick quickly. And 1 more point is going to do it for Native Gaming to take the lead in the grand finals here 1-0. So if you're Oxygen, you got to find a way to get over there. But Oxygen, they're taking their time. Right now, Native Gaming is starting to employ the strategy that they did against Crowd Pleasers. They're not in the hill. They don't want this point. They think this point is chalk. They're playing the clock right now, and this is actually a very interesting situation where Oxygen Gaming, all of a sudden, 2 minutes seems like it's a lot of time. It's not going to be. The slays come through, the hill still neutralized, and the only time Native Gaming are going to get in this hill is when that overshield is up, and they will get immediately out of it the second that that's the case. So right now it's a chess game being played by Native Gaming.
Yeah, Mine's just mastery playing outside that hill, and when the player gets in there, he'll jump in, contest, overshield in the hands of Native Gaming.
They would have had the point by now. This is ridiculous.
Nothing is going right for Oxygen. Desperately trying to get their way back to that hill, but it's a journey. And well, I don't know if they have a Sam to help them on their way. This is just a devastating result. Native Gaming have truly shut down Auction Esports, and even if this hill does fall away towards Oxygen, there's still so much work to be done on the backside. Aperture's able to get 2. Looks like hill will eventually be captured, but now you just have 1 minute and 6 seconds to capture the next 2.
What an unbelievable job from Native Gaming. There was 3 minutes left on the clock when they had about 80% of that hill. It was Team Slayer for Native Gaming for the last 2 minutes. There's 55 seconds, and now that the hill is top middle, this is by far the most exposed hill. This is by far the easiest hill to get the enemy team out of. And with the clock continuing to tick as that hill is neutralized, the pressure continues to build onto Oxygen.
Yeah, and really, like, this is the easiest one. You don't have to move. You can just stay back. Like, yes, Oxygen's going to get hill time right here, but there's no reason for you to just fly and die in this hill. Just play your life. Get the slays down. Play more of this Slayer, and that's exactly what they're able to do. And it can be backbreaking when a team takes control of not only C, but also A at the same time. That's when you're going to find yourself in a lot of trouble on this final hill when time is ticking away. And with 30 seconds left, you still have a 2-hill deficit. You need to get in this and capture it with leaving yourself maybe like 20 to 15 seconds of time for the next.
Yeah, you need time to play the next hill. And that's not going to be there on the clock. Statistically, like, you'd have to play perfect from this second on. And, I mean, you can sit back and watch Overshield all you want, Bone, but the hill being neutralized is the worst thing in the world for you right now. Overshield might not be the problem. The repulsor doesn't come through. And Native Gaming, I mean, what a chess game they've made this one out to be. This is the first time I've really seen a strategy like this implemented this early in the game, and they played it to perfection.
I think it's so interesting because we've seen 2 games now back to back where Native Gaming have given up the hill extremely early, right? They like to play that Slayer, and I'm a huge fan of that. You know, I think it's a 50-50 split throughout the community of how you should play in that situation when you have 3 minutes left, right? Do you play for the last cap right away, or do you play Slayer really early? And I like how Native played it. I mean, they just showed how effective it was. That hill, 80% of the way captured for Auction Esports. Did not matter. They were able to burn 2 minutes off the clock with the other team only needing 10 seconds of hill time.
Yeah, I think it was definitely impressive, but the question is that's a great strategy to implement against a team that I guess you can control the map and dictate slays for 2 straight minutes against. I feel like some top teams are going to be able to find opportunities and you leaving the door open there, but nobody yet, as of today, able to do that on the side of Native Gaming's opponents. So a phenomenal job by them. I felt like throughout that 4th and final hill, it was like they could have scored the point several times in a row if they just had one guy standing in it. But I understand, like, hey, maybe it's a strategy you want to practice, right? Because when the game's a little bit closer and you're trying to implement that strategy, you're confident in the way that it's going to play out. So they're confident in playing it out that early in the game. I thought it was almost unnecessary at that point. Like, let's just get the 4th point and get this one over with. I'm more so looking to close the game out, but they obviously want to get their stats up a little bit, build their confidence, and hey, more power to you. If it helps get you through the rest of the series that you just outslayed that team for 2 minutes straight before they could get 5 seconds of hill time, that bodes well for your confidence too, right? You got to think about these guys being humans and confidence making a massive difference. For momentum's sake, Native Gaming have a lot of momentum at the same time.
You know, I feel like it's akin to like blackjack. You know, do you hit or do you stay on 16? And the book says you do one or the other, but you do it 100% of the time, right? And I think that's what Native Gaming's showing. It's like they're gonna stay on a 16, and they're gonna stay every single time, no matter what, because they think that's their most effective way. And I think it'll be interesting as we see those strategies develop throughout the day. But here we are into game 2, and already Auction gonna have to recover quickly, but coming out to a bit of a great start. 6-3 to start. They got the skewer in their possession. Most of things going their way at the moment, but still early in this game, and you know Native Gaming are just waiting for one mistake, one slip up to take map advantage.
I hear a lot of hype about Triton. I heard a lot of hype about Triton going into Kansas City and how well he was playing. Saw a little bit of it on the stream, but an 8-21 performance in game 1 not gonna cut it. He's been able to pick it up here in game 2 at least. A hot start for him. 2-4-3. I'll take that start every day of the week. But what else can he do? Skewer in hand. Can he hit the shot? Narrowly misses with the jerk on the thumbstick. Can't create an opportunity for his team. But I like the positioning right now for Oxygen.
Reloads that skewer. Well, one more to go. And you already see after he uses this last one, he's going to have the overshield to play for once again. So Bohm just been surviving throughout this game. And well, surviving is definitely the key right there. So many nades coming through, and he's going to peek, and he's going to be able to take the head off of Biggie and make it 2 as Nemesis picks up the next. And nothing is going right for Native Gaming early on, as they're going to go 2 down at the worst possible time as Overshield has now hit the field.
Yeah, Overshield coming up is a big momentum opportunity for Oxygen to get back in this series. They should be able to acquire that. They've got it in the hands of Common, and look how aggressive Common wants to be. These brute grenades are going to do a ton of damage to those players up top. Going to be able to track them. It's an assist already with one. Multiple players trying to force their way out to the middle of the map. That's exactly where Bohm is. And Common not going to give his life as Bohm does get taken down. He was overwhelmed with a couple of players, but Slow plays this, and we'll see how it plays out. It's a 2-0 trade for Native Gaming, and somehow, some way, those players finesse their way to stay alive, get their shield back, play their lives perfectly, and negate the power swing that Overshield was going to provide.
Now, Krilzy really showing how powerful the commando can be, right? Basically able to hit that first shot, then immediately swipe it to the right in order to get a kill. Double, make it easy. You can already see this game going to slow down, reminding me a little bit of like an E-United sort of pace.
These guys want it. And when you want it, when the pressures build, when it means more, you slow the game down because you want to make the right decision. And unfortunately for Oxygen, that was a tough decision to make because the plasma nade ruins the entire plan there.
this was a great start for Auction Esports. That's just slipping from their fingers.
Oh,
Nothing has gone right. That player, is he grappling?
Both
no, he's
of
just
them
off
fell.
the map.
Wait,
no,
both of
Avatar's
them
still
fell.
there. Avatar's still there.
Okay.
Oh, no, he's off. No.
At the same time, 2 players for Native Gaming fall off the map.
That's worker solidarity right there, baby.
Yeah, hey, if you're going down, I'm going down with you.
Starting to see the map slow down. Once again, it's a 2-2 split from Auction, deciding to put resources on both sides. We'll have to see if that comes in handy, but Native Gaming getting ready to push out. It's a 3-on-2 numbers advantage. Auction needs to make the most out of their lives right here, but it's not going to matter. Able to take the 2 players down with relative ease. One comes from the middle. They have the overshield. Oh, Mines thought he was going to be able to repulse him off, but just short.
That's tough. You can just feel momentum in the hands of Oxygen right now, right? Everything going their way, even some of these plays that are almost unfortunate events. That's how it works, though, right? When you gain momentum, things just seem to work out for you. The timing seemed to go well, and Oxygen's map control is something we got to talk about throughout this game. They have done such a good job of controlling the map.
The old adage is Slayer does not start until you get to 30 kills. You need to keep this momentum.
I never got that one.
Never got it. Hey, you know, I've
felt
seen
like the kills that I got to get up to 30 mean just as much as the ones to close it out.
The only kill that matters is the 50th kill. You know what I'm saying?
That's not true. You need 49 more.
Well, we're seeing all the kills start to go in favor of Native Gaming. It's a clean wipe as Auction Esports see the screen. I think this is what the adage is supposed to mean, because all these kills in the early game, and well, if you get to 30, it's essentially tied. Nothing real. All that momentum, I don't think, is really going to carry you through.
As a player, though, you're feeling it at that point. Like, you've had time to find your footing in the ground. You found time to get your shot going, to feel the flow of the map, and there's something to that. You gotta put some volume into the fact that these guys are human and that they're like consistently gaining confidence throughout a game, losing confidence because they lost some BR fights. They fell off the map once or twice. I was about to say, Jesus Christ. Once or twice. Like, things like that will change the momentum for the rest of the game. Things that happened before the 30 kill mark for sure. And as we approach that 30 kill mark, although this game is close and maybe nothing substantial enough to swing anyone's confidence or anyone's momentum as of yet, we still have to praise Oxygen for the map control. This battle for Overshield is a very competitive one right now, but these players don't expect Piggy to be in the back, and when you don't check your corners and you just assume that this guy's by himself, you get punished immediately. It's a 3-for-1 trade on the side of Native Gaming, and all of a sudden this 30 kill mark's looking closer and closer to being tied up.
Yeah, really losing minimum numbers when it comes to getting that Overshield. They're going to be able to have most of it ready to fight for the next round of slays, but all of Auction, they are all teaming up with each other. Every single BR is trained on the same spot. And Avatar, he's going to take his luck. He's able to get the first. Another 2 are coming. Not able to get around that corner. Nemesis tries to get mines. The trades come through eventually in the favor of Oxygen, but Krillsy will have the last laugh. Never mind, make it Chris Common. That's about as trade out for trade out as you can see. And well, Native Gaming are 2 suicides off the map away from making this one a very close game. Have to be regretting those right about now, but Aperture able to get another couple.
He gets a couple, but they lose 3 at the same time. Oxygen doing a phenomenal job somehow, some way. Every time it feels like Native Gaming get a nice double or do something really well, like the Piggy flank for 2. Somehow, some way, Oxygen are trading out these kills to where they still have this 3-kill lead to play around.
Problem is they have a 3-kill lead now, but it was only 5 minutes ago where they were up by 10. You know, this is the momentum clearly a swing towards Native and some sort of sense. And Krillsy, I mean, playing a dangerous game underneath every single player of Oxygen, but perfect pre-nade gets bonus.
They know where he is. It's all 4 dead.
Oh, no.
Common. Beautiful shots.
I think if you open up the dictionary, you take a look, I think that's what you call a piv fight right there. Chris Common able to win it.
There's a lot of words for that fight.
We start to see Oxygen, I mean, just grasping onto their lead, but making the big plays when they count. It's finally just about even. 40-40, first to 10 will win this game.
It's gonna be a 2-kill bump for Oxygen. It's answered by 1 immediately.
Wow,
going back to a tied game. Nope, it's a 2-kill lead now for Oxygen. A great job by Bohm to work with his teammates across the map. They've got such good map control right now. They've got good information, but you're by yourself. If you're Bohm, you need to get out of dodge. You overstay for just too long, and right there, that's the opening Native Gaming need. They get a couple of kills, but Common once again. Brilsy, we've talked about how well you're playing. Those are some important shots that you need to hit on the Common, and Common gets out of that one with his life, and it's the 1 kill difference now, 46-45 in the game.
Yeah, Common has found some massive kills where
massive.
No reason he should be able to stay alive. Is able to find some value, and that's all Halo is at the end of the day. It's a numbers game, right? If you're able to equalize your impact on the map, you are going to be successful. But there we go. 46 all mines finds the break, and Skewer has gone into the hands of Native Gaming. Oxygen Esports has to be careful about exposing any lane, and well, Bohm's position is known. And there it is. It's the Skewer that comes back. Krillsy able to put it to work, and now all the players from Oxygen are known. They saw all 3. Krillsy not able to get around the corner. Nemesis finds the kill. It's tied 47 all. Triton makes it 48.
Oh no. The assassination comes through. It's a clean sweep. Oxygen get it done. 50-47. It was about a 3-kill lead the entire second half. They keep that lead. They close the door on the game. They tie this series up. And that was a wild ending. And when you're coming up that ramp at the end, you have to do a complete 180 or a 360 in order to clear everything, because so many times not checking your corner, not checking your 6, it costs you your life. It's easy kills. We saw the Piggy flank for the double where he was positioned bottom middle towards the overshield. And I mean, again and again and again, if you're not clearing corners on a map like Catalyst, you're trying to cut for time purposes, so much wrong can go on. And I feel like we saw it time after time, but it is Oxygen that comes out on top. And that was a big one, because Oxygen, I expected to come out deflated after a game 1 performance the way they showed out. A phenomenal job by them to rebound here in the grand finals and tie this up before they go down to the 0.
And I mean, I think anyone after they saw that kill that Krillsy had with the Skewer rifle thought that game was going to go to Native Gaming. Oxygen stands strong at the final moments. I mean, Clutch, what do you think happened, in those last few seconds? I mean, we're talking about moments of gameplay for Oxygen where they're able to ice up, clutch up. Like, how do they make that happen?
Oxygen just had the better positioning, in all honesty, and it was a little probably chaotic on the side of Native Gaming where they wanted to push, but they were all pushing from different angles. They don't really have teamwork. They have, like, hopefully good timings is what they're playing for there in order to, like, mesh well with the different positioning that they had. Instead, Oxygen like had the buddy system going where it's like, I got your back, you got mine kind of situation, and it allows them to play their lives a little bit better. Because of that, they're just able to trade in a 4-for-0 fashion. And in all honesty, Native Gaming probably kicking themselves for a push that they didn't necessarily have to execute.
Well, we're moving on to Strongholds, and this is about as fast game pace as you can get. This map is no stranger to 100-0 runs, and well, that could be what we're seeing early on. It's a trip cap and rockets in the favor of Native Gaming.
I like the vibrato that you just brought to rockets there. Little girl on the end of it, little boom on the end of the rocket there. It's a nice pick. The trip cap, it's deflated though. They do get the reset on the B just narrowly somehow, some way. Mine's apparently across the map, able to kill Bohm, get the reset. They continue to score. It's not a trip cap, but the points are adding up quickly.
Yeah, and this is what the trip cap offers, though. You have a dynamic style of play. You don't necessarily have to fight and scrap out for that trip. You lose it, you wait, you reposition, you try to push for it once again. Bohm won a critical fight to be able to open up A for the team. He's been able to rotate, but Native Gaming still the only ones that have scored in 60 unanswered points. At this moment in time, there's one player lurking at the back of B that they have to be careful of if they're going to make this push. But so far, just Oxygen have not been able to get the numbers to make this push.
Not yet. I'd say it's still early, but 78 points is nothing to shy away from, right? You have a very comfortable lead. You're able to play around on a map like Streets. It can get flipped on its head, but you got to start getting some slays, and they get a couple That's their opening pick to B. Nobody there on the side of Native Gaming anymore to defend B. It's going to be transferred over. Last 2 players alive for Native Gaming. Slow it down. They don't give up their lives in order to try and compete for B, and that's going to give them an opportunity to compete for Rockets here. We saw so many sloppy plays for Rockets earlier by Native, I believe, and we'll see if that's a similar story here. Chrisley and Mines, they're able to find kills, and they are going to be able to secure Rockets, make it 3 going down for Oxygen. That's everything the doctor ordered for them to get back in control. Still 60 points in the lead. They're going to flip the map completely. It's going to be a C hold for Oxygen. A and B are going to go in the favor of Native Gaming, and you got 1 rocket to play around. So this is where you can once again build a very significant lead going into the mid game.
Mines is waiting for information, trying to figure out what lane he should put this rocket into, and well, the call to B has come. 2 players are moving in. He has a perfect opportunity here to get an easy pick, but unfortunately he hits the worst part of the map. It does minimal damage to one of the 2 players, and they're gonna lose B for peanuts. Nothing goes in their hands, and Auction Esports able to get back in scoring position. Nemesis looking back for the fight, and oh my god, the double back is so pivotal for Nemesis, able to get the kill right away, and now it's a trip cap that's in effect for Auction Esports. And Native Gaming, they're desperately looking for something to call home off their spawn. They've been able to get towards A, but they have not been able to get the kills, and that just means Auction Esports has an opportunity to clap back immediately and get themselves in a trip cap possession once again.
BNC still in their favor for Oxygen. Nemesis, a quiet player so far today, but somebody that I think really stands out in a lot of the series. I've been able to watch him play in. Trying to be aggressive. Good control of PD here. Momentarily, they are going to lose B, however. Nobody on the side of Oxygen was able to stay there, and because of it, Native Gaming was able to transfer B and C back into favor, continue scoring, and they're looking to push C. Nemesis has a good flank. The Rockets, he takes him down, but can't quite pick him up, and because of that, the rest of Oxygen, they get taken down as well. Native Gaming are going to have Rockets. They're going to flip the map once again, and we've seen this story before. This is how Native Gaming have built their lead so far throughout this game. They should be able to take A control into a B control, and once again continue to score, but for now, it's an AC hold.
Mine's able to track that player out. Gets the easy rocket kill, but trying to get the finish at C. He does get the kill, but it comes at the cost of his life. And well, you see those spike grenades come through. Krillsy, I mean, a miracle from God that he was able to survive that spike grenade. I don't know how he took not one piece of damage from there. You can see they have an open route towards C. This is a rotation that Native Gaming can make. And well, if Krillsy's able to lead the charge towards A, this is a potential trip cap on the board.
I like that he goes back, though. He's going to be able to weather the storm. Not only that, but finds a double. There's a player top tower. I believe he's no shield. Can't get the angle to work. That player is going to stay alive a little bit longer. They are going to be able to get C in the meantime, though, and Krillsy did a good job to apply a lot of pressure onto A to force Oxygen to play defense while 2 strongholds are being held by Native Gaming for now. They're going to give up B. A sponsor, the red room for Oxygen, came through, and now Oxygen's got to make a decision. Do we go A or B? And Native Gaming, do we have the resources to defend both, or are we going to try and flank once the push comes through?
Oh, Aperture saw the shadow of the player leaving. You can see Oxygen just waiting for a pick, waiting for an opening. With the Rockets coming up, Aperture's the most important player on the map right here. This red gun can do so much damage downrange, and he has the perfect line of sight towards these Rockets. Cannot afford to let Oxygen just roll away with these for free.
Good damage. Ooh. So much tension on him as well. Just nobody there to really compete, and Rockets are going to go in the hands of Triton, but a trade, that's a success, I'd say, for Native Gaming. But I mean, in the meantime, it's a trip cap. Oxygen will take that every day of the week. They've got the slaves behind it too, and you're seeing Mines. He's got 1 rocket in his back pocket, makes his way to A, but these brew grenades somehow are not finding any damage. And I mean, I'm no shield at that point. I might even be dead.
Bro, I was standing at a shotgun one day, playing 8, so someone shot the spike grenades off their platform, and I somehow was made one shot. I don't understand how these players are able to survive these spike grenades, but one rocket still left in the hands of Mines. They aren't scoring, but the second they find an opportunity, Mines has the potential to just up the intensity of their ability to push.
I like that he has chosen to slow play this. He's not going to just try and waste that rocket to create the opening. He's going to try and methodically break this setup of Oxygen. They know that they have this lead that they built to play around. And there it is. There's the pick. Bone goes down. The stick comes through, and a beautiful two-piece for Mines is going to open up what you would think is the entire map. It's a 3v2. Bohm's able to get one, or Nemesis is, before he gets taken down. It's up to Common to try and deny this push onto B. He's doing a solid job here as the map does get flipped on the side of Oxygen and Native Gaming. They're going to take C and B control, and in the meantime, Common tries to make his way bottom middle, but just too much pressure to deal with. He loses his life, and it's right as rockets are coming up once again.
He's not able to survive, and the push to B is on its way, and that might be a distraction tool just to be able to get these rockets away. That's trying to get the shots down range, but the spawn at bottom C is going to push him off the pad. And now the fight for rockets is still on its way. Triton's going to hit the little shotsy spot for a second, and this rocket's going to be big for either team, and it's the flank that comes through. Krilzy gets from behind, and then he hit the curb slide right away to get the rockets. Unfortunately, Nemesis was able to get the kill. Aperture's last alive, and well, he's going to have a rocket that's in his future.
He knows his player's there too. This could be a very easy kill for him. He's going to hit this rocket before the curb slide comes through. No damage done with that rocket. It's an easy kill. It's an easy double kill now as those rockets getting put to use. Now a BC hold for Oxygen. This is going to be Native Gaming spawning Cafe's out of the map right now. And Nemesis is going to... He was looking to be aggressive. I like the decision to slow it down because he was about to run into all of Native Gaming there. And now we'll see if they're able to hold this BC setup.
Red gun can be a difference maker. You can see just how fast this gun can kill when you're hitting your shots. Oxygen continue to score. They pass that 200-point threshold, now just 15 seconds away from tying this game up. And Native Gaming, they've had so much momentum through the game, built themselves a massive lead, but it all could be for nothing if they're not able to make a successful push. And I mean, Nemesis has just been an absolute thorn in their side. Double positive at 20 and 10, making the impact plays for his team.
Said he's been quiet today, and that this is the coming out party for Nemesis here today. 21 and 10, so much damage being done, not only with the rockets, not only with the Stalker, but just like perfectly able to single-handedly hold down C while the rest of your team's able to focus on B, just creating such a presence on the map right now, trying to deny rockets as they're coming up in 5 seconds as well. He's got a lot of grenades coming through. It's almost going to be too many. You have to think you got to get out of there. He doesn't do it. He eventually gets taken down. His reign of terror is over, but damage has been done. 10 points to go for Oxygen.
It's 10 points to go, but it's only 20 for Native. They might have gotten away with these rockets Oxygen have, but it might not be enough. There's one. Oxygen knows about the second. Triton, he's able to get two. Well, he'll make it an exclamation mark with 3. It's a clean wipe. Native Gaming all seeing the respawn screen, and it's going to be a 250 to 230 victory for this Auction Esports roster. Nemesis and Triton coming big at the end of the game.
Massive game from Nemesis when his team really needed it to gain control of this series. We're looking at a bizarre CTF as game 4, and you expect Oxygen to have some methodical play there, having so much experience in previous Halos. CTF is usually the game type you lean on for the veteran team, and what a way to gain control of the series. Nemesis popping off. They start off pretty slow. Native Gaming jump out to a very early lead, but rocket control continuously going in Oxygen's favor. They're continuously doing the right things, flipping the map when they need to, and because of that, Oxygen were able to close out that close game. And it was perfect play from Nemesis at the end. I mean, rockets transition into Stalker Rifle, and then he just anchors C so perfectly by himself. Gave his team everything they needed in order to take control of the series. And we'll see if they have that same power weapon control here on Bazaar, or if Native Gaming can change that storyline and do a little bit better of a job of prioritizing some of that power and getting the kills they need right before those come up and giving themselves more opportunity.
And you know, this is You're gonna see like the duality of Halo between these two games, right? Like Street Stronghold's very fast paced, very rotational based, very get aggressive in your face, score points right away. Bizarre Flag, kind of the complete opposite, right? A battle of attrition. You're gonna see this go the entire time limit most of the time. Very rarely do you see 5 captures. And it's going to be a lot more of that traditional grab weapon control. Make sure you have your angles. Don't let players leak through. Play it stage by stage. And we'll have to see which team is better suited for that gameplay. And like you said, you have to feel as if Oxygen Esports is better ready. But Native Gaming won the start. They have rockets. They got the overshield. And they're waiting for their opportunity to push into this back base.
Yeah, they're going to get a couple of kills, and that's going to be the opening opportunity to pull this flag. Unfortunately, I think, nope. Flag carrier stays alive. That was massive in that sequence. They get 3 straight kills. Players are going to be coming off respawn over towards the shotgun side of the area. There's one overextender in Triton that they got to worry about. The rest of the players are going to be coming from tree and double doors. Piggy, he's able to trade one out. That flag's still going to be bottom middle, however, and there's a player in their base I believe they have to deal with. I'm not quite sure if Triton's been taken down, and
there he goes.
I mean, Aperture, he knew that that was the one player he had to worry about, and that's why he's got the freedom to run this one in. They took a very early lead here. Native Gaming coming out extremely hot off the loss in game 3, trying to force this to a game 5 in the grand finals here today, and Aperture doing a phenomenal job at 4-0-1 and a flag cap to his name.
Yeah, I felt as about textbook as you can possibly get it. I mean, they just won the start, won the slays through, and captured that flag. But Auction, they don't stay down for long. Boom.
All right.
He's able to get 3, and well, he knows there's a 4th lurking from behind. Decides to hold off on the flag for a moment, and well, there's 2 more to deal with. And Boom still has 1 more fight to win. Unfortunately, the man just cannot do it all by himself. 5 kills in a row for Boom. But it gets cut down short. His teammate's going to be able to get the overshield. That Mines is, resigning to his fate as Triton starts to move forward with that overshield.
Ooh, nice grapple to get himself all the way to the thrust. The lightning grenades, they're not going to do too much chain damage there, and that's tough. He doesn't quite hit the flagpole there. That's why you always ADS when you want to grab that from such a far range, and such a difficult situation for Oxygen. They want to get this fight continuously on the move. They've gotten a couple of kills, but there's just too many players to try and deal with, and forcing it's not the right play. Native Gaming's defense, they stand strong, and somehow, some way, Mines is in the enemy base right now. He's got a flag on the move, and it's perfect timing because Oxygen have gone down recently. If they can sniff out this player in the tree, they're going to have a massive opportunity to go up 2-0.
I love that for Mines because that's him having a lot of confidence in his teammates, right? To overextend all the way to the enemy flag while you didn't have numbers. Putting that faith in his teammates, and it could be rewarded right here as this flag is still on its way, and Mines is just harassing the players from Oxygen, trying to keep them off the rockets, and he'll be successful. That flag suddenly making its way to home, and there's nothing that Oxygen Esports can do about it.
Mines gets taken down, but that's going to be a 2-0 lead, and a 2-0 lead on Bizarre, even with 8 minutes and 38. The pressure kind of gets felt, right? Everyone's very cautious. You need to get some momentum. Making this a 1-cap game is so pivotal to the mindset of Oxygen right now, and they just can't find the openings they need. They can't get the slays they need in order to get a realistic opportunity at a flag cap.
Even there, Nemesis, he has the rockets, and well, just not able to get 1 kill from either of them. Perfectly baited out from the players on Native Gaming, tempting him to shoot them at that ledge. Successful at the end of the day, and Nemesis knows there's a player lurking above him. He hears him. He's just not able to get the angle, and he decides that the Aperture had gone, and well, Aperture knew exactly what he was doing, waited for his opportunity, got the pick. The overshield did go in the favor of Oxygen, but you can't imagine this one's going to play much of an impact with the rest of Triton's teammates on the respawn screen.
Yeah, you can't. It's not even a realistic overshield, is it? It's a sliver left. It might give you a little bit of an advantage in a 1v1. Does get a kill on a Grizzly as he's trying to push into the base. The teammates are here as well. If they can get a couple more kills, they're going to get a flag on the move. 3 go down. It's up to Aperture to try and deny it. Aperture's the last guy alive. He's on the flag. He is taken down, and shotgun spawns are going to be where the first couple of members spawn for Native Gaming. They've opted to overextend, and they're going to run it right to them. We'll see if this is a good decision or a bad. There's only a couple ways this one plays out, and They got to clear out their side of shotgun. Players trying to stay alive, but I like the aggressive play from Oxygen, and they're with their flag carrier this whole time. Unfortunately, he's gone down. In the meantime, 3 go down for Oxygen, and that was a little bit of a risk running that direction, knowing that they spawn there. You got to slay you have to slay out, and it's so difficult to do so when you have so many corners to check. And unfortunately, Oxygen's first opportunity at a real flag cap, it gets wasted.
And you know, I love the play from the first overextender on Native Gaming. That what did they prioritize, right? They went into the opponent's BR, got into that cafe, and really just stood strong. Although all the teammates, you know, fell when they did make the rotation to bottom shotgun, it's the one player who stays alive that causes the wrench in the plan, and suddenly it's another counter cap. And Auction Esports, I mean, they have to just feel frustrated at this point. They've had their opportunities multiple times now. They haven't been able to translate them to success. Meanwhile, Native Gaming, they have a 100% conversion rate. They pull a flag, they have to feel so confident that it's getting captured.
If you're a fan of Game 5s, you're a fan of what you're watching right now on screen, because Native Gaming have done everything right here in Game 4 to get us there. 3-0 now, 6 minutes on the clock, and 6 minutes is going to go by very quickly on Bazaar. So difficult to find success with the objective play with that flag, and doesn't look like it's going to get any easier. Mines now with grapple, rockets in hand. He's got control of Oxygen's bar, and do they know he's here? Does it even matter if they know? Can they get him out is the question.
They will stay alive now. Piggy has the overshield. I mean, with the pace that this game is going, Auction Esports might lose this 5-0. I mean, nothing is going right for them. One player able to get onto the overextend right away, but Nemesis falls, and this flag run, you have to figure it's going to be relatively easy as long as they're able to find it. And that player that could have overextended all the way back to home, he decides to meet the flag at the halfway point. We'll have to see if that comes to success, but all the kills are starting to go in favor of Native. They're keeping Auction at bay. They're in the cafe, but Piggy, there's no one there to stop him. He's just going to run this flag to the double doors right away. Can he get around the corner? The nades are coming through. They're too far behind. Piggy looking to put the 4th flag on board.
What a beautiful job of efficient objective that Native Gaming is able to perform here so far throughout this game. They are playing Bazaar CTF almost to a perfection so far. With the opportunities that they've been able to take, with the slays that they've been able to get, they have made everything from them. It's not that big of a differential in slays. Like, it's starting to get out of hand at this point, but a 4-0 lead is something insurmountable for the side of Oxygen.
Yeah, and Piggy, I mean, Piggy's not done. I think they want to win this game 5-0. Look how fast they're playing into this base. And well, Chris,
they're not going to play time this time.
Yeah, not this time. No time. Overshield going to be up in about 4 seconds. No one from Auction is there. 2 players overextended all the way back to the home base, but Mines is going to have an overshield to fight them. Oh, just barely got that one on.
Mines is disgusting.
You say that, he's about to die to the 2 players.
I mean, just does so much there, though. I mean, it was so chaotic. Mine's just like what I feel like so consistently, like just good at making plays.
Oh no, Piggy has a shotgun in the perfect spot. He gets 2, but the 3rd will be too much, and it's a counter cap that's on the way for Auction Esports. Well, you have to average about a flag cap every 45 seconds here in order to tie this game. You know, but you don't lose your fight till the very last moment, I think, is their policy right here. Is Common looks to get this one. I mean, there is one player on his heels, but I don't think they're going to get there in time. Auction Esports 1/4 of the way through this comeback.
1/4 of the way, and you can entertain it. I'm not going to. I'm looking forward to a game 5, and don't take that from me.
Though.
I'm not.
I mean, would you rather a game 5 or would you rather the crazy 5 uncontested flags like to win a game?
It's not gonna happen, so we don't have to go down that road because one of them's one of them's going to happen. The other one's not going to happen.
I'm a believer.
You are delusional.
Delusional is probably a better word for it. Nemesis doing his best to keep them at bay, but was there a player in that corner? Dude, I felt like there maybe it was a dead body that was around that corner, but Nemesis cautiously optimistic about his chances of getting across this map as he hasn't felt any resistance in the mid-map.
Nice try.
We both had the same reaction to that one. That's a tough one to The Swallow, it's a good try, but not enough at the end of the day. And with 2 minutes left in this game, Native Gaming doing their circles and their victory laps. The final kill is just going to add to their stat line.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to be comfortable playing time, I think, at this point. 2010 and 13 on the side of Piggy, having a great game 4 to take his team to a game 5. Grizzly and Aperture, they're right behind, and I mean, we can't say enough about the efficiency and the objective play, which has to be done on a map like Bazaar by everyone, right? Like, everyone's got to do their part in order to get these caps on the board. And the fact that just about every single time Native Gaming had a realistic opportunity at a 5 cap, they got one. That speaks volume to their strategy, their teamwork, their cohesiveness, their like comprehension of what everyone else is doing on the map. And that's what the great teams have, right? The great teams always have that level of consistency, that known commodity. Native Gaming, maybe not a great team right now in North America, but showing signs that there's potential in the players. There's potential in the strategy.
Yeah, I mean, the best teams are so damn efficient, right? And it's like, I think that's the biggest thing that we've seen, the takeaway for Native Gaming is they really, every single flagpole that they've had looked as if it was going to be a flag cap. 4 of them were, one was stopped just short with some great plays from Oxygen on the overextend. Just everything was clean. I don't think there's I think that's the word I want to use, right? I mean, I don't really see many mistakes. It wasn't like they're flashy with anything. It's just clean, simple Halo. Get kills, make sure you have the timings, block the right spawns, get the rotations back. Like,
yeah, it's nothing flashy. It's just textbook Halo being played, and it's a much more difficult thing than it sounds to do.
Certainly, if you can be book smart, everyone would be able to play this game. You have to be able to execute. That's the biggest factor. Very few can do it on the biggest stage, and very few can win tournaments. The Native Gaming get themselves one step closer. It's a game 5, 1 Slayer to determine who comes home with that $500 prize pool.
A tough loss for Oxygen. We've seen them rebound after tough losses, though, especially after the game 1 loss. That was a blowout in Native Gaming's favor. Bazaar CTF, a blowout in Native Gaming's favor as well. The 2 close games, they've gone to Oxygen in this series. So we'll see if that's how it's going to play out in game 5. If it's close, does Oxygen have better organization under pressure when those moments get intense, when they get chaotic? Or is Native Gaming going to be able to build a significant lead and run away with it with that kind of momentum? That's 2 things that you're looking for throughout this series that we've seen that could potentially dictate how game 5 is going to show us.
Well, have you got any bold predictions? I mean, you've seen both these teams, both of their highs, their lows. Who do you think takes the Slayer clutch?
I think it's Oxygen. I think Oxygen's the better team without King J. And I think that they've struggled in some significantly in some objectives. I think Slayers kind of remove a layer of depth that they don't need to focus on in order to have success. But right now, I mean, Native Gaming could absolutely play this one to a textbook, could show you like a setup, slow this game down, and make it very frustrating for Oxygen. And that's where they're going to have their advantages, is if they are able to slow this one down and really methodically break down Oxygen's like problematic areas.
Well, to me, it comes down to the X factor, and that's the player on your screen right here. Krolzy replacing King J on the team for today. And, well, those are some big shoes to fill, but I feel like he's done a great job since then. If he can manage to have a good game here, you know, go +3, +4, get to that double-digit mark, I think Native Gaming wins this game. If Auction Esports is able to show that the lights are too bright at this moment, I think they'll take the game, but I'm putting my faith in Krolzy to having a good one. I'll take the Native Gaming side. We're getting right into this Slayer. Auction Esports have control of the outside of the map, but Native Gaming quickly making their way through.
5-5, no one able to separate themselves as of yet, but big questions are where is that shock rifle right now, and doesn't look like anybody on Oxygen's really in a position to control it. Grizzly, he's going to make the difference here in the score line right now with the kill and the kill feed. It's traded out from Bohm, though, and They're gonna opt to try and rotate towards elevator. Catwalk is almost no man's land here though, and you want to either get your rear end to elevator or not, because Grizzly with that shock rifle now in hand, he rips the head off of someone top control, and now he's been able to open up the map just a little bit. They should have a good idea of where Oxygen are, all on the blue side of the map.
Grizzly could have gone aggressive into that long haul, try to get one off the spawn. Instead, he's going to slow down his pace. Doesn't want to be that first player to die, but you see Oxygen. 3-1 split, 3 of them towards that C plat, 1 sitting towards C stairs, so waiting on that camouflage. Native Gaming have no position for the camo yet, but you figure they're going to start to spring into action as it comes up. Crowsy sees the push into long. Not going to be able to take that player out of the catwalk. 2 of them push through. Crowsy going to be the first one to fall, and while the rest of his team starting to follow. Avature doing his best to stay alive. He'll follow the suit, and Piggy going to be last as Oxygen gets the full wipe.
Oxygen get the full wipe, make it an 11-10 game now. All the damage that Chrisley was able to do with that shock rifle, it's negated. And Oxygen, we're seeing how they're going to be able to perform in this slow game. And as I say that, Chrisley just pushes, gets the kill with the good damage onto the grenade. They open up the map once again, but for the most part, this game has been pretty slow and methodical. It's a game 5 in a grand finals, of course it is. And Native Gaming doing a phenomenal job to stay in it.
Starting to see the pressure mount towards bottom A. Crowsley's going to be the first player to get the pick. And look at Piggy. He wants to go in for the action, trying to get behind that player at glass. He's going to be successful. Takes some unnecessary damage from Bone, but the shock rifle going to switch hands. And Oxygen being corralled towards the tower. And while it's coming at a massive cost, Mines is able to get the first, and the second comes from Piggy. Cross the map. 2 of them go into the pit to try to get the quick flank. Nemesis gets the kill, and now their position is known, but no one from Native Gaming really able to capitalize or punish the play as Piggy tries to reposition the shock rifle.
What can Piggy do? Unfortunately, can't quite hit the shots onto the player's long haul, but gets good information there. You don't want to nade your teammate, though. That's a tough one, and now he's in a 1v2 situation. Plus up the shock in the middle of a fight. It's the shot that at least could have traded, and not a bad job in a tough situation to come out with a net even situation, but back and forth these two teams go. Minutes as close as it can be. 21-19 now as Triton extends the lead to 2 for Oxygen.
Bohm has, it's like this shock rifle just keeps switching hands. Bohm has the shock stick now. He's the one that can talk, and he's able to find the assist on the first, but Native Gaming quick to find the trade. I maybe saw an image of a camo player coming his way, but decides to pull out the shock. And finally the flank comes to fruition. It's right when Bohm decides to hit that reload button.
Such an interesting game so far. Piggy hitting some shots, trying to keep his team in this one. It's a 1-kill game. Can he stay alive? Keep this game tied up. And Triton, a player to probably watch on the side of Oxygen. Just a 7-2-7 for now. He's able to find a kill, or for now, but I mean, so many isolated deaths here or there. Those ones are going to be costly. They're going to add up, and phenomenal job, I mean, by both teams in order to trade somewhere along the way as these kills individually pop up in the feed.
Shock rifle back in the hands of Native Gaming. Oof. Mine's going to be the player that needs to put it to work. 32-30 advantage for Native. And it's all about these next few slays. Whoever wins this next slay battle is going to get the next camouflage. And
there's a guy on catwalk. Didn't see him. Didn't check catwalk in common. Picks up a big one there. Removes shock rifle from Native Gaming's hands. But once again, another push and another trade. I mean, back and forth, these trades just come through.
Common had that martyrdom perk on. Drops the grenade and gets the trade out. Camouflage coming up. Auction has the better line of sight. Native Gaming has the height. Which one will reign supreme as Avature gets right into the action? He's able to get one, but the camo player takes him out, and the camo player is getting away. And I love that the player from Auction did not burn the camo. They're holding on to that. They want to get maximum value. And as this game quickly starts to head towards this conclusion, the camouflage having as much value on it as possible could be the biggest difference maker.
Yeah, massive job to stay alive with that camo. The big question is now, what does he do with it? If we can go on board with the camouflage player, that'd be big to be able to see what he's up to right now.
Well, there they are.
I believe he is turbine. And look at this. All 4 players stuck.
Is that heaven? Is it common?
Towards elevator.
I believe it was common that had the camouflage. He tried to get right in. He was able to get the first pick, but his teammates just were not quick enough to keep him alive. They're starting to come back through. Big kills. As Nemesis stays forward, the shock rifle in his hands, they have the lead, and well, Native Gaming and have a problem on their hands, spawning all in the same spot. That information well known. And Auction Esports are going to be the ones that decide how this game ends.
Yeah, so many times we've seen that elevator trap just end so poorly for the team that's trapped there. You're never able to fight out of that situation successfully, especially against a camo player. And Oxygen, they've been able to break this game wide open, take the lead here. And with shock rifle in the hands of Nemesis, he could extend the lead. All of a sudden it gets tied up. Aperture finds a couple. Nemesis can't hit the long range shot to gain the lead, and a bit of an over challenge in that situation, and every single death is going to matter. So if you're Nemesis, you got to figure out ways to negate those kind of mistakes here in crunch time of a game 5.
Nemesis saw overkills in his eyes. That's exactly what he saw. When he saw that third shot, he's like, oh, I could just win the game here. Unfortunately, they're just stray, and does not matter. His teammates are starting to go big. Camo went into the hands of Native, but it's quickly burned. Mine's not going to be able to stay alive. Just 4 kills for Oxygen to win this series. And they know the spawns. The question is, how aggressive do they want to be? Oh no, from this Sneaky, hanging out the ledge of Sneaky, they're able to get him on his rotation back to A, and it puts the game within 1. Once again, Native Gaming able to find a kill from just the absolute greatest angle possible.
Yeah, 46-45 now. They're able to make it just a 1-kill game. And the game slows down to a snail's pace. They think somebody may be down bottom middle. Nobody's there, though. Native Gaming playing this one very passive, and Oxygen knowing that they don't want to be the ones to make the mistake, but it's Bone with the shock rifle. He's in turbine. He's found one. It was Aperture he was able to hit. Extends the lead to 2 for now.
It's such a tough spot for Native because even though they got Bohm to 1 shot, they can't push because they don't have numbers. And they know it's a trap that if they try to play too aggressive and finish Bohm, that it's going to come at a too steep of a cost. But you cannot expose any head. And the second someone comes out that doorway, their head's going to be going. Oh, Bohm just misses. Bohm's going to reposition. Still has plenty of shock rifle just to win the game by himself.
Can't hit the shot, though. That's just such a narrow miss. If you're Bohm, one of these have to come through. 48-45 would be massive. Camo's coming up, and it's going to be a decision made by some of these teams. Do we play for it? Do we bait it? And Bohm finally finds the head of Piggy, extends the lead back to 2 as he loses a teammate. They've given up Camo, and that could be the opening. The push comes through to elevator, and no one else from Oxygen is there. And now all of a sudden, with Camo in the hands of Native Gaming, they have tied the game up and only need 2.
Bone played a dangerous game with that sniper. He was the perimeter player. Didn't have the help, and well, the sniper's fallen into the hands of the most important player on the map. He gets the chain reaction. Is that enough to stay alive? Auction gets the kill, 50-49.
No way they get the kill. You thought that he was going to land the second shock rifle, but somewhere a nade was thrown from across the map that takes him down. And what a massive ending. 50-49 as close as it gets. Oxygen close out the series. And that was one of the wildest endings to a Slayer recharge I've seen, to an Infinite Slayer I've seen, especially in a grand finals. What a moment for Oxygen to close the door on that one. And it was looking grim at the end, and somehow, some way they pull it out.
I'll say, the dropped weapon, he probably gets the kill. I think, hey, I'm just saying, he was He saw the second player like maybe 2 bursts.
Yeah.
He could have maybe dropped the weapon, pulled the BR out, gets the easy kill. I'm like trying to rewatch it on the stream right now just to like see exactly what happened. So pardon my eyes being away for a second. He gets in. Yeah, he had the time. Just a nade that comes from behind.
Who's nading that? Because you're throwing a nade there, and you're risking hitting your own teammate if that nade goes further, right? So
I can tell you exactly who nades it. Let's go back and look.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's kind of wild that someone grenades that area at any point in time in that combat loop that's not involved up there, because you are risking a lot.
So it's Bohm's grenade. Is Bohm the player that's underneath? Sorry. I want to see if that guy's tag ever comes up. Sorry, guys. Well, we want to get to the bottom of this. We're going to leave you just in a second. It doesn't show his name. I don't know if like Bohm was the player that was in stairs, right? That's my other guess, is maybe he went up the stairs like through a pre-nade.
Didn't seem like he was even facing the player to throw a grenade. That's the crazy part about it. But whoever was able to assist that fight that was not at close corridors just won his team the game. Whether it was an assist or a kill that he was able to achieve, he kept his teammate alive. He's kept his team in it and helped secure the 50th kill, the one that matters the most, I would say, Tools. And hey, that was an absolute unbelievable series overall. And Native Gaming are going to be kicking themselves for not being able to win it, but they look strong in the game types they look strong in. The close games all went to Oxygen. You got to figure out a way to clutch up, and maybe King J can bring some of that clutch factor for you when he gets back from whatever he's doing. So both teams play at a very high level. Can't wait to see these guys go at it in Orlando and see them compete against the rest of the top North American scene, because I do think that these two teams have a ton of talent and opportunity there.
Well, how fitting. Bohm, he gave up the shock rifle to the camo. He throws the final nade and gets the 50th kill. A little bit of revenge for his team as they're going to walk home with $500. That does it for us today, Clutch. We're going to be throwing it back to Yasso to close out the show for today's Series E.
Thank you, gentlemen. As I double check, my mic is on. Damn, Oxygen and Native playing a really damn tight series. They're really delivering a truly grand final here on this Friday afternoon. So wonderful, well played from them, and shout outs to Oxygen. Really tight series. Both of their series today really close, even despite that 3-0 scoreline in the first matchup there with Esports Arena Blue. But they come out on top here, and hats off to them, because even Native with not the entire roster here, still showing up really damn good, and that's a very talented squad. So it is no easy feat to take down that Native team. So Oxygen really could kind of hang their hat on that one and see if they can build off of that as we head towards Orlando. So looking forward to that and more. That is going to do it for us here, though, this week, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. Plenty of Apex Legends, Guilty Gear Strive, and Halo Infinite action. I certainly had a blast being here for it with all of you. I hope you enjoy your weekend. We will be back next week. Of course, a full slate of titles kicking off with Halo Infinite on Monday. Also, do want to remind you, if you missed the Why Not and Shyway show at the start of today's broadcast, check it out over on our YouTube channel, and it will be on all your normal podcast platforms next week. But if you cannot wait, it should be up on YouTube right now, so make sure to go and check that out over on the Esports Arena YouTube channel. My name is Yeso. It's been a pleasure to hang out with you all here today. Congratulations to Oxygen. Enjoy that $500 that you certainly earned here today. For myself, the entire live broadcast crew who puts all of this incredible show on, thank you so much for joining us here today. We will see you next week.